This is the GPL podcast, part of the Pull Tab Sports family.
Oh boy. Jupe making mistakes. I love it.
See, I got to make sure the audio works so I don't end up like Micheletti.
You know, a good recruiting tip is like, where can I get a good drink around here?
Let's get this bandwagon going, folks.
Take
Come
that,
on.
Pete, Mr. Negative.
Now, here's Jupiter and Vigo. Good evening and welcome to the GPL podcast, episode number 300. Vigs, it's been 15 seasons, and now we're at number 300.
It's pretty hard to believe we've been doing this for this long, but it's been fun to grow the pod and meet all their guests and just have all the support from our community. And we need community right now with this group. So I'm happy to have a guest on tonight that can help us have some therapy.
Well, who better to celebrate, 15 years and 300 episodes than Pat Micheletti? Pat!
Gentlemen, congratulations. 300.
Thanks.
15 years.
15
That is
years.
awesome. Congrats.
It's been fun. It was terrible at first, but we've been getting better and better. And
Well, you got better guests, right?
Frank
Last
that
couple
balance.
years now. Last couple years have been really good.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, right?
Yeah, but we had Frank Mazzacco on our second episode. So
Well-
that's what launched us right there was Frank Mazzacco. Of course,
Well,
give
I
Frank
don't know
all
if
the credit.
I don't know if that's what you wanted to launch you, but no, I love you, Frank. I love you, Frank.
Well, gentlemen, Vigs, let's just start with you. 4 losses in a row. The Friday night game was abysmal. Saturday, great second period. Lose it in overtime, but still, this January has been rough so far.
It's been really difficult. And I think anytime that you have a Gopher roster where you just don't have kind of the high-end talent that we're used to seeing, and then they try to play a style that maybe can't be successful with that kind of roster, you're going to get some interesting results. And against Michigan, they capitalized on a lot of Minnesota mistakes, and Minnesota just really couldn't get going. There's just not enough players who can take control of games, can take control of shifts, and change momentum. And it just caught up to them shift after shift against the Wolverines this weekend.
Yeah, Pat, you were talking about a lot of things along those lines. Like they just they might defend for a long time. They get control of the puck and then just throw it up the ice because they're either tired or what have you. Michigan shut them down. They just had no offensive zone, and that caused the defense to even be more tired.
Well, to me, they had one good period this weekend, and that was the second period. And they played a little bit different style in that period that they were successful. They were on pucks. They hit people. They took control of the game. I think the shots at one point were like 16-4 for Minnesota in that period, and really had them on their heels.
But
The other 5 periods, they watched. They allowed Michigan, who was a very skilled team, to play with the puck, and so I think they're trying to figure out what are we, what can we be, and then obviously now in the rest of the season, they're going to have to figure out a style that can maybe give them a chance to upset somebody. That's the way I'm looking at it now. But until they get to that, what are we? It's going to be tough.
And Viggs, that's kind of what the season's been like. You've got that second game in North Dakota, 5-1. Wow, they look great. The game against Denver, they look great. In between, LIU loss, or it seems like this week, or that, especially that Saturday game was kind of it. It was like way down and then way up and then way down again. There's just no consistency there, Viggs.
Yeah, this team is a roller coaster team. They have had moments where they play really well. The second period against Michigan on Saturday, Brody Lamb probably had his best segment of play that I've seen from him all season. I think that's the kind of player he can be. I used to have an old football coach. We'd watch film, and he'd be like, Vigo, you gave yourself away. You made the play. You were physical. You moved your feet. You were in the right spot. Now you need to do that every time.
Yeah.
And I think Brody Lamb in that second period against Michigan showed the player that he can be. And he just needs to be one of those guys who gets involved physically. You know, Bob moved him to center this week, Saturday for that game. He responded.
Yeah.
Now, I think he's probably going to stay at center here going up against Michigan State, but that's a way for him to impact the game. And that's what Minnesota needs right now.
And, I don't want to be Mr. Negative because there are some good things there. And the young players, they're just too young right now. And that's why you have those ups and those downs. And, you would have hoped by this time you'd see a lot of growth. And we have seen growth out of, Javon Moore is, taking his game to a different level. And and he's still super young and he still has a lot of growth to go. But you're seeing that, and other guys too. But to be able to understand that you got to bring it every shift, every night, you can't be afraid to play. And so those are the things that some of those guys still have to, to learn. And, I'm excited for this team, next year, right? Because I think they'll grow a little bit. They will be bigger and stronger. They will be more mature. And, but for now, you just got to hope that they can find their way.
And Vigs, that's kind of the tricky thing too, is Minnesota's not used to next year.
Yeah.
Very true. Social media has been a challenging place to spend some time if you're a fan of Gopher hockey, or maybe it's therapeutic to get, some people to agree with you on how low things can be right now. But at the same time, this Gopher roster has talent. It's just they don't have mature talent.
Yeah.
And Motzko knew what he was getting into. I don't think he knew he was going to get this deep into it with young players. This roster looks a lot different if Chesley comes back, if Renzel would have came back, that would have made a huge difference in this team. But, they're developing on the fly. Yeah, Oliver Moore. We're talking about players that aren't spending a lot of time in the NHL as regulars. They're going back and forth. They're playing limited minutes. They're unfinished products. So maybe the coaching staff saw things that the players didn't see for themselves or their advisors didn't see. But it's tougher going for them as professionals than I think they thought it was going to be. But going back to Minnesota, I feel like some of the younger players are the ones that are playing the right way. And, we're seeing a lot of growth out of Mason Moe. I think we're seeing a lot of growth out of Jacob Rombach. I think we're seeing a lot of growth out of Beckett Hendrickson this year. It's just you can't rush it. And the schedule.
Beckett Hendrickson should have 25 goals right now. I mean, he should. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, Bob says he wishes he had that elixir of confidence that he could just slip in their drink and, Beckett would have those 25. But he's playing the right way.
He's playing really, really hard. Yep.
The fans don't want to hear that, but that's the reality. And,
I almost wish at this point, because I don't like when they sit back. I don't like when they, especially at home, have a team have one pass out of the zone, play around with it in their own end, make a change, still come back over the puck. I almost wish that they would play, okay, guys, just go out and go, and play hard and play and skate and go, 100 miles an hour, hit people, create a forecheck, like they did in the second period. Get the D. The D were pinching, right? Why did they have the puck in the zone? The D were pinching. And we didn't see that for 5 other periods at all. But I'd like to see, because you know what? We all know they're challenged offensively. They're, out of how many games have we played? 24 or 25, something like that. But for 11 of those, 2 goals or less. That's unacceptable. I mean, it's not I'm going to rephrase that. It's not a formula to win. It's not a recipe to win. And so so that's the challenge that they have.
Oh, it's frustrating. It's
And I
frustrating
don't like,
because
you know what I also don't like. I know there were some lady plays out there that really bothered me. Really, really, really bothered me. And plays that you learn in squirts that you just do not do. And and they can't, they're a team that can't, their margin of error is very, very thin. It's a very, very, very thin margin of error. So you've got to be ready. You got to be focused. You've got to be ready to play a 60-minute game, because playing 58 and giving up 2 goals in those 2 minutes or something, kills you. Absolutely kills you. So, the optimism in me sees growth out of some players. I would just like to see a little bit more consistent play out of them throughout a whole game.
Well, the turnovers is what was frustrating me both nights. Sometimes, yeah, they're getting pressed in the defensive zone. They have a chance to clear. They have to flub it, go along the board, something, and it goes right to a Michigan stick.
Yeah, simple plays.
I think it was tough to see the goal at the end of the period where
Yes.
Rombach has a chance to make an easy exit, and it gets picked off and it ends up in the Gopher net. And that's just one of those situations where, your game situation, there's a minute left in the period. You just want to make simple, hard plays that are clear, and they stub their toe. And that's just something where it's a growing pain. It's a freshman defenseman. He's got to play important minutes, but we got to figure out where you can take on risk and where you have to be safe. And it's just challenging to have it happen in this kind of game.
And that's a young kid not understanding situational hockey. How much time is on the clock? Minute left in the period. I don't care. You got to play it safe. You got to get it. You have to understand the time of the game, what's going on, and get out of the period, whatever the case may be. But if you're not thinking the game, you're in trouble. You're in trouble if you're not thinking the game. If you don't understand, times and all that stuff, it'll come back to bite you.
And this is just one example of many. It's unfortunate it happened to him in this situation, but I think part of this issue is you have a team that's not playing with confidence. And so they get into these game situations and they're not free enough to understand that and execute it.
Yep.
And that's part of a young team when you've got people filling roles they're not comfortable with, and they're just going through it right now. It's all you can say. And then the overtime, Lacombe mishandles a puck and it really puts a sour note on the weekend. That's
I don't know. I don't. Let's be. I mean, let's call it what it is. He didn't mishandle a puck. He didn't mishandle the puck. But you can't be that lazy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's a veteran. You can't be that lazy. You're 3-on-3. You're playing against a team that is so skilled. And
number one.
and
for a reason.
And you have to be. We all saw the play.
You won the draw, and then you just saw the next puck handle was not a confident one, and it just cascaded into the end of the game. And I do think if the Gophers even lose in a shootout against Michigan, it doesn't feel quite as bad,
right?
And to lose it that way was really just a sour note on the weekend. Talking to the players after the game, they're frustrated. They are putting out some effort. I think there's another level of them to get to, but they're just as disappointed as everybody else.
To me, Viggs and Jupe, when you're sitting on the bench and your team is struggling, and sometimes you look down the bench and say, are you going to do it? Is your line going to do it? And you're looking at a bunch of freshmen, and they're like, I don't know how to do it. Not yet. Yes, all talented players and all this, but Are you ready to go out there and be that guy that makes that hit, or makes that great play, or makes a great back check, or blocks a shot, or you know, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Is it me or is it him, or are you going to do it? And until you feel it, you won't be able to understand how to do it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Viggs, my curiosity, let's go look at Michigan now. I know you've not been a big fan of Naranjo and how he coaches his teams, but he's got his team
They're
together
different.
this year.
They're different.
And can they are they going to threaten for a national championship here, Viggs?
I definitely think they can. The big question is their goalie. With Ivankovic getting hurt, they have a guy who hasn't played all year. He came in. I don't think the Gophers really tested him very much. And we saw the Saturday game where Michigan took some penalties and gave Minnesota life in a game they should have been dominating. So those are kind of the gaps in Michigan that I see. And obviously Minnesota's power play, connected with 2 goals. The power plays looked great for Minnesota this year. I think they're at like 40% the last, 15 games or something like that. It's really clicking. The second unit, you don't need them because that first one's so efficient with the puck. But I think Michigan has so much talent, they might be able to overcome their shortcomings. When I saw their power play this weekend, it looked like an NHL power play. No bobbles, lots of movement, players trading spaces, pulling killers out of their structure. Very impressive group right there.
And they're a deep team. When the Shifsky kid is on their 4th line, was on their power play a year ago, I think at 15 goals as a freshman, and he's accepted his role on the 4th line and is killing penalties. That to me right there tells you there's buy-in. They are more, much more disciplined. You didn't see much after the whistle stuff, and and you need that because years past, the Naranjo's probably had more talented teams, and but you just knew, they're going to take a dumb penalty at some point and get right and lose games,
and they did.
And they did. But now, I give them a lot of credit for the way that they're playing right now, and they're going to be tough. I tell you what, the Big Ten is really, really good this year.
Yeah.
To me, if Penn State figures out that they need to protect their own end a little bit better, their top 2 lines are as good as anybody in the country. But they will say, no, we're going to give you a chance to get back into it and make egregious errors in their own end. If they can fix that part of their game, they're going to be awfully tough.
So, beginning of the season, Pat, we had a big player on injured reserve for a while, and the injured reserve player was you.
Yeah.
You were down and out. You were at the Mayo Clinic for over 20 days, was it?
24 days, yes.
Wow. Driving the nurse is
things.
crazy, I bet.
Yeah, it was crazy. I worked the first 2 series of the year, Michigan Tech and Boston College, and I was really struggling to walk. And then after the BC series was the North Dakota series. And I remember that Sunday, I'm like, I don't think I can go because I don't think I'll be able to do it by myself. And so got out of that. And then when the Gophers came back from North Dakota, that was the day I ended up going down to Mayo. I fell in my house. Legs just quit on me. And thank God I got down there, and 24 days later, nuts. But I'm slowly getting there. Vig saw me walking a little bit, and so I have started to walk a little bit, and just need to get the legs stronger. My hands were a problem too, and they're coming back. Still got to get a little bit more feeling in them. But I tell you what, it was great to be back at the rink. I missed it. Win or lose, you love to be there and be around you guys and be around the lot, be around the players and the staff, and so it was great to be back.
Hey, we were hearing a little bit from Wally about what was
Yep.
going on, but people were asking us, we're like, that's none of our business. We're not going to
Yeah.
say anything. But Wally was like, yeah, I was talking to him on the phone, and he had a hard time just holding the phone. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
come on back.
Well,
Yeah.
I kept dropping the phone
Oh,
because
geez.
I couldn't. I had nothing in my hands. Nothing.
Mhm.
My hands were just, I couldn't feel the phone. Okay, and then it would
Mhm.
just drop, and I'm like, oh my God. And that was before I went in the hospital. And then, when I got in the hospital, but it was all caused, guys, because I'm immunosuppressed for my kidney
Yeah.
transplant. So apparently I caught a virus, and that virus attacked my nerves. And, that because I had a biopsy done on my nerve, they tested that for cancer. I had a PET scan. I had 2 MRIs. I had EKGs. And it was crazy. But I had really good care and a good medical team and
Best in the world down there.
best in the world, no doubt. And so we're getting there. We're making progress.
And I'm guessing since the nerve thing, it just takes time to recover. It's going to
Yeah.
be painful, but every day is
Hey,
a little bit
big
better. isn't it?
news. I had my last infusion of steroids yesterday. 12
Mm.
weeks in a row.
He's going to be so ripped, Vigs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I came by to visit.
Not that kind. I wish, right? But no. So and actually that's what really helped because they kind of try to wake up your nerves and get those going and it's helped. So now I just got to get in the weight room because my legs are still like that big, but they're getting there.
I can attest to Pat having some strength because I went and visited him between the first and second periods on Saturday, and he grabbed me. He's like,
I did, didn't I?
Yeah, you grabbed me hard. I was like, oh, I'm ready for a net battle here.
Yeah.
Pat full on steroids.
It was great. I hadn't seen you, and so it was great to see you. I had to let you know. I'll let you know my hands are working.
Yeah, you let me know. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm in for a little struggle here. And
Yeah.
we were talking about the team and your energy, and I was glad to see you back in the rink. I think Gopher Nation really values your connection and just makes it.
We all love it, right? And we're all passionate about it, and it just sometimes I have to take step back and say, wait a second, they're young. I can't get as frustrated sometimes as I do because I get because you want to see them win, and so we just have to be patient and go from there.
Yeah, but don't lose that passion.
No, never.
Yeah,
Never.
to be frustrated means you're passionate. So
Yep, for sure.
that's how it goes. Well, before we move on here, Vigs, we need to talk about one of our sponsors. And of course, it's not game day without Cub Foods, man.
Yeah, I mean, now is the season. Game day starts at Cub. We've got Super Bowls. We got big playoff games coming up. And if you want to get some fresh ingredients, check out Cub. They've got USDA choice sirloin steaks on sale for just $5.99 a pound this week. You can get those Simix meatballs for $6.99 a package right now. I mean, when you've got your tailgate party, Simix meatballs are kind of like a staple in Minnesota. So make sure you get those and stock the fridge. You can get Coke 12 packs for $5.99 each when you buy 3 with your My Cub Rewards card. Everything you need for kickoff right there at Cub. Shop happy at Cub.
All right. Of course, we thank Cub Foods for being a sponsor of the GPL podcast. Vigs, your top 20 this week. I've been revamping your top 20 over here on GPL. I've got a record of all of your polls here from this year, last year when you started kind of doing this. So you could even chart teams, which you don't want to chart Minnesota, but that's okay. But of course, you got Michigan at the top, Vigs, and there's a reason.
Yeah, Wolverines, they have not lost a series all year. Even when they've lost, they've been able to come back and get the split. We saw the talent that they have. They're a very deep team, as Pat was talking about. Like that fourth line is good. Their special team is very good. They're going to be able to outscore a lot of mistakes as well.
Mhm.
And this is probably the best team we've seen at Michigan in a long time. And it's not necessarily the high end talent that we've seen on some of the top Michigan teams. It's a deeper team.
Yep,
And I
yep.
think that bodes well for them come tournament time.
Well, and Michigan's all over the place there, Vigs and Pat. I mean, look, Michigan, Western Michigan, Michigan State, it's all Michigan right now.
Yeah, it really is, and credit to them, and let's not forget Wisconsin, Penn State. I tell you, it's a pretty good feel. I am shocked, guys. Not shocked. Well, yeah, shocked. Right now, Hockey East has one team in the tournament. One, right? If I'm correct, one team, and we might see. And I've talked about it all year, the CCHA, watch out. They may get 3 teams in this year. 2 for sure. I think they'll get their champion, and I think they'll get another team in. But they might get 3. And I tell you what, you've got 6 teams that could win their title. And I'm giving a lot of credit to the CCHA, which I think they deserve.
And I kind of do look at those Vigs, and Augustana's been on your poll for quite a while now. And around, midpoint, they go up and down a little bit. But ever since they kind of snuck in there, they've been pretty consistent and not losing, getting swept or anything like that.
Yeah, Rabs is doing a great job there. He's built a program that they've got some veteran older players, and they are very difficult to play against. And the CCHA did better in its non-conference than they've done the last couple of years, which has put them in this position. Hockey East, on the other hand, terrible non-conference performance this year. And some of their top teams have lost a lot of games that you just would not expect them to lose. I had BU as one of my favorites in college hockey to start the year, and they have just been super inconsistent. And I think one of the things we're seeing in college hockey right now is with all those CHL and U Sports players coming in the league, a lot of teams are able to fill holes, and every weekend's difficult. And I think some of the teams that have been more consistent have weathered that better. And the teams that have not been as consistent have younger players that maybe aren't ready for college hockey, but the program's just kind of stuck with their guys rather than filling the holes with older, experienced guys.
Well, think about it. Look at Minnesota. Yeah, look at Minnesota. If Kurth, Moore, Wood, if all those guys come back, we know the names, right? How many of the guys that are playing would not be here? They'd be in junior again, right?
They'd be in junior for another year. Correct.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And do you know that, how big a year that makes it? And listen, the one guy I really feel bad about now, and you talked about him earlier, and he's moved to center, is Brody Lamb. I would love to see Brody Lamb have the ability to come back next year. He can't. But I would, but he came in early, right? Remember, he came in early, and he could have been in junior that year and come in the next year. But for him to have the ability to play with a more of a mature group next year, I think would have helped him. I think it would have helped the team. But it's unfortunate.
Well, and Jimmy Clark, he's another player who came in.
He did. Early. He came in early, didn't he?
And he's not having his best year right now as he's having tough times. So it's a couple of guys like that, that need that extra year. Like Beckett Henderson got the extra year. I think we're seeing it pay off. Javon Moore took that extra year. I think we're seeing it pay off. Leo Gruba took the extra year. It's helping him. But you got to be patient with these guys. College hockey is not what it was 20 years ago. No. Playing that 19-year-old of junior is very helpful for these guys.
I agree. And look at a kid like Eric Paulson, they really miss him in the lineup. But, he hasn't had a great year because he's been in and out. And he hasn't been able to find any traction in his game yet. Just when it's starting to come, gets hurt. And then, hopefully he's going to be back in the lineup this weekend. I don't know. Do you know, Vigs?
Bob said he'll be back. He was playing today. He skated last week, wrist injury this year, collarbone last year. But they need him. They don't have a ton of center depth, as you're seeing with LJ Mooney take a bunch of draws as Brody Lamb moves to center. They need some help there.
I agree. And, and for me, and, I hope that they move LJ Mooney to center at some point. I don't think it's going to be this year, but all he does is make plays. But he needs the puck. He needs the puck more than he's getting it. And if you don't have a centerman that is delivering the puck to him, it makes it really difficult. So it's almost like you waste him at times. You see him on the power play. I mean, he's terrific on the power play. And he could be more of that 5-on-5 if he had more room in the middle of the ice.
And I've seen him on a line this week with Ziemer and Lamb, Mooney.
Yeah.
So I think those three, they look so good together on the power play. Maybe try him out 5-on-5, because this Gopher team has not been very effective 5-on-5. So I think loading up a line like that is probably something they need to explore. Because if they can get a line going there, and then their other lines maybe play more defensively, aggressively to get momentum, and then you can get that line out there, I think that might be a recipe for Minnesota the second half.
Yeah, they got to find a way to score goals, and even if you don't have that offensive defenseman that they sorely miss, we can go back to the ones in years past. I'd still like them to be a little bit more aggressive and put a little bit more pressure. And this is a read and react game. Can you get there? Can you make the pinch? If you can, do it. If not, then you back up, right? Think. And so I would love to see. I love when they're aggressive. That's just the nature in me. The teams that I played on, and aggressive, and that's Gopher hockey. And so I'd love to see more of that. We saw that in the second period, and it was a fun period to watch.
Just wanted to cover a couple more things here, Viggs. As I was entering a lot of your back data, Providence has been one of the most consistent teams in your polls for the last 2 years. But then, like you said, Boston University didn't really move anywhere. Boston College, Connecticut, Maine just dropped like rocks this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all of Hockey East is struggling, and they're losing games in conference too. So they're not doing themselves any favor.
No.
They're in terrible position for the MPI going forward. So I just kind of reflected some of that in my poll this week.
It's not good. It's not good out there.
Yeah.
And that would be a black eye on that league if that, and we get it, right? Hockey is cyclical. Teams are cyclical, and but it's been 2 years in a row now, right, where they've kind of had a rough patch.
I mean, I do think that there is something to the young players right now coming in college hockey, that their Bantam years were heavily impacted by COVID, and maybe their development just hasn't been as smooth. And so if you've got a team with young 18, 19-year-olds on your roster, it's tougher right now than maybe in years past. And then those teams as a whole just seem to have a hard adjustment right now in college hockey.
Though I will say, hold on though. Maine was a number 1 seed last year, and so was Boston College.
That's right. Yep, that's right.
Playoffs. So,
but they've lost some players on those teams that were key, and they have not been able to replace them. I think if you have a team that's had a lot of departures, it's been tricky to fill holes.
Yeah. Well, before we move on to this weekend, Viggs, you know what we got to talk about next, because I know you've been using some of these products, Cascade CBX Sport. I know you've been using them after some of your practices, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm not getting any younger, so I've got some aches and pains that I'm trying to address. And you could say the CBD is a miracle drug, and you wouldn't be wrong. The list of benefits of using CBD is long. It can knock out pain, it can reduce inflammation, helps you sleep better, and that's how you recover. And with CBX Sport, you don't have to worry about any issues with the drug testing stuff, because they're NSF certified for sport. So whether you're just like a beer leaguer coach like me, or you're a young athlete who's looking for a little relief, check out CBX Sport. Trust the Shield to stay on the field.
All right. Pat,
Yeah.
Luca DePasquo's heading
Oh my
back to
gosh.
play his old team this weekend at Mount Arena. You're heading out, I believe, tomorrow morning, aren't you?
Correct. Yes.
It's interesting. It's like, LaFontaine going back to Michigan.
Luca DePasquo, the last 4 games didn't win, but he was fabulous. He came in for Erie in the second night and was terrific the first night in the 3-0 loss at Penn State. But you guys saw him this past weekend. I mean, it could have been a lot worse Friday night. Could have been 10-1. Really. I mean, it could have been 10-1 without him. He was fabulous. And he was even, he got tested in 2 of the periods on Saturday and was fabulous. And I don't know. I haven't talked to Bob. I'm not in Bob's head. I think he's earned the right to own that net, and I certainly expect to see him on Friday night.
What do you think?
Yeah, on his radio show this week, he said to Wally, "Yep, he's my number one."
Okay,
for now.
there you go. I didn't listen to the show.
And then I asked him again today at availability. Me and Grimmer were the 2 media members there, Jacqueline for quotes, and he affirmed it. He said Luca's done everything that we could ask of him.
Yeah.
And he was a goalie who didn't get a lot of playing time last year. And so he thinks he's only going to be getting better right now as he gets into a rhythm. And I think one of the important things with Luca's game is he didn't give away goals.
Yes.
He was very good in his crease. He was very good challenging shooters. The goals Michigan scored were premium goals, which is what you need out of your goalie.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And he looked confident, and he his positioning was really good. He wasn't all over the ice. I can't say enough great things about him. And he just he kept Minnesota in the game.
And he's a confident puck handler too. So when there's opportunities for him to help out the D and move the puck and
for sure
get them going, he's a confident guy who can make tape to tape passes out to the red line and pass.
Yep. Well, good. And obviously you're going to need when you don't score a lot of goals, you need to keep the puck out of the net, and he's going to be key down the stretch for sure.
So what's Minnesota's strategy here, Viggs? I mean, if they're having a hard time keeping out of that, do they just try to play a defensive style, or what should they do? Oh, Pat's already nodded his head no. Well, but what do you think, Viggs?
What I think they need to do is I think they have to be more physical, and I think they have to get their defensemen involved in the offensive zone with a little bit more confidence. I asked Jacob Rombach about that a little bit today, and he said, yeah, scanning the offensive zone from the blue line and being more ready, get engaged is an adjustment. And it's something that he's learning how to handle. And I think that goes for a lot of guys on the blue line for Minnesota. They're just not confident stepping into the play and then making plays from that pinch. And so that's the biggest thing for me. And I think the only way you get better at that is with experience. They're not going to get better if you just sit back and let them break out of the zone and give away the zone and give away the blue line. You need to have guys who go in there with a mission to separate players from the puck and make a play. And you have to have forwards that can read that and cover for them and reload over the top. But if you're going to be successful long-term, you have to activate your D. Pat and I have talked about this for years. The elite college hockey teams have defensemen who get involved in the offensive zone, get teams out of their structure, and you can create chaos. And right now, they're not doing that.
And I'll talk about the forwards. When the puck is dumped in, you've got to have a little fire to go and get it. Okay. And you got to beat that defenseman sometimes. And if you don't beat him, you got to be right behind him and lay a hit on him. And that's number one. Number two, there are too many times, and it drives me crazy, where Minnesota gets outmanned in the corners, 1 against 2. You're never going to come up with the puck. One guy is not going to come out of a scrum against two guys very often, or 2 against 3, or whatever the case may be. And it drives me crazy. So, you got to have a little bit more fight by your forwards. Yet you got to play the body a little bit more. You got to get engaged, right? But you got to try to create some. And I've said this on your show 100 times. I don't care how good of a defenseman you are. If you have pressure on you, it is hard to make a play. I don't care how good you are. It is hard to make a play if you are being pressured and hit or whatever the case may be. And so if Minnesota, gets in that mindset a little bit, I think they're going to have more success. Hell, we saw it for one period on Saturday night. We saw them, and we saw, Michigan get a little discombobulated. You saw them start throwing the puck out of the zone and icing it, and that's where you take over a little bit. And I'd love to see more of that. I hope I see more of that this weekend, because if they go in there into Michigan and say, okay, we're just going to sit back, well, watch out. Watch out. It could be a long night.
It's kind of how Friday night was, Viggs, for me. It seemed like a long night for me, Viggs.
Yeah. I mean, it was a long night for a Gopher fan. I think one of the issues with this team is they spend so much time defending
Yeah.
that they don't have
Then
the
you're so
energy.
tired, right?
Yeah, they have a hard time getting off the ice and getting into that forecheck. And you almost need a group that can change the momentum of a game somehow, with a turnover and possession, so you can get on the forecheck and you can get the other team having those tired shifts where they're defending. And right now, I don't often see that discipline to the shift length and the shift structure to change the game like that. And I think some of that is youth and not understanding the
how to do it,
picture in
how
the
to
game.
do it. Yeah.
Right. Because sometimes all you have to do is you have to gain the zone. You have to wait for your line mates to join you in the zone. And then you have to possess the puck for 20, 30 seconds. And then when you change, the other team is now on a minute plus shift and you've got fresh legs. And that's so critical to college hockey because the talent level, isn't huge.
No.
The skill level isn't huge. Whereas I think in younger levels, the talent level can be a huge gap. And you can just win on pure talent and skill, but you have to understand the game situation so much more in college.
I can't even add to it. I agree. And I can also add, you got to recognize where the onslaught has been there. So how do we change it? How do you change it? You talked about someone go out and put a hit on. Maybe it's a line saying, okay, you guys got to go out and do it now. But there's other, you got to find a way to slow the game down or take that team out of their momentum. If you're not doing it, physically or forechecking or whatever, tell your goalie, hey, go to the bench, fix your pad. But those are things that can just for a little bit get the other team, and that might just things like that. You got to outthink them sometimes.
I don't know, Viggs. When we start talking about goalie pad issues, it flashes me back to last season in Fargo.
Yeah, don't bring that one up for me. I do think one piece of this, like changing the game, sometimes our defensemen have to cover for the forwards and have to join that one forward in the zone. If the defensemen are fresh, take a chance. You're going to have two fresh forwards coming on behind you to protect anything that goes the other way, but you can come up and support your teammate in the zone. And we've seen that the last couple of weekends, I think, with Michigan and Penn State. Their D aren't anchored at the rear of their structure. When they see opportunities to jump up and get in the play, they do it. And I don't think we're seeing that with Minnesota. So
what a difference when you add that fourth guy into the play. It's night and day, because what that does is it automatic makes the D back up. And what does that do? Gives you all, more room to get into the zone, set up, whatever, make a play. And just because just because that fourth guy joins the rush. It's crazy. Crazy game.
Crazy game.
Pat, talk to me about the resurgence of Michigan State these past couple of years. They were the bottom
Yeah.
of, or near the bottom of the Big Ten for quite a while.
Adam Nightingale, I tell you, you know,
Mhm.
his connections, and he's so well liked, and you know, he worked extremely hard to bring in the players that he did. And once he started getting some, and you guys know, oh, I got one guy, but my buddy's over here who is a great player, thinking about going, no, I'm going to come here, and look at the guys that he got. You know, Isaac Howard, right? Had him in junior, or with the national development team. Gets him from Duluth. Charlie Stramel, he had him in the National Development League, and you know, Charlie was comfortable playing with him there, playing for him there. He comes there, and so you know, it was just a yeah. Michigan State's a destination place for a lot of these guys, and you know, it's great to see them because you want great teams. I don't care. You want great teams in the league, and we saw what they were for years, and it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun when they came to town. It wasn't fun going out there because they weren't very good. And now you're playing. You know, they're really good teams, and that's what you want. So a credit to Adam, and you know, you just got to beat a better team now.
And Viggs, you know, it all kind of coincided with a whole remodel of Munn Arena.
Yeah.
Uh,
You know, to me, it doesn't look. You know, once you're in there, it looks the same. I mean, you know, it's all underneath, right?
yeah,
I mean, it's all underneath. To me,
but that's what the players love, Viggs.
I feel kind of bad for Danton Cole because he was the
yeah,
coach in transition that did all this work to create that infrastructure for the hockey program.
yep,
And he had to fall on the sword because of a couple bad seasons and, you know,
couple.
missing a couple of recruiting classes. but now Nightingale's done a great job there. He's made the right call with some of his additions from the CHL. Porter Malone has been a great player for them and has really stepped into the lineup. Caden Lindstrom hasn't moved in quite as easily, but they've got enough in place to support guys like that.
Riker Lee.
Right? Riker Lee's been great for them in college. Didn't have a great World Junior, but he's playing well for the Spartans. And I think a big sign for them is they got Trey Augustine to come back for another year.
Yeah.
And anytime you have a coach behind a bench that has guys who want to come back for that extra year, that's a great sign.
Great sign.
Minnesota
and a great message to the younger guys thinking about wanting to leave. You know, they might think, you know, I'll stay another year, but you know, who knows?
And Minnesota and Motzko had that a couple of years ago when Faber decided to come back, and everyone wanted to stay with Faber. And I think identifying guys like that in your recruiting pipeline and keeping them in the program is the best advantage you can have in college hockey is leaders like that.
Yep.
Faber and Lacombe teamed up for the Olympics there, Viggs.
That's awesome.
Yeah, exciting news. You know, Lacombe has just been straight up in his development. I remember when he came to Minnesota and was making mistakes at the blue line. You know, people were on him all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, after his All-American season, he had a real struggle through the first half, and he adjusted to that. And he came back and kept developing. And, you know, he's done that in the NHL and well-earned trip to the Cortina Olympics.
And his rookie year, he struggled, you know, and like most guys do in the National Hockey League. But you know, I think this last quarter of his rookie year came on, and you know, from that point on, he has been fabulous for Anaheim, and you know, he's earned a spot on that team. Really happy for him. Great kid.
I think one thing about Jackson is his mental makeup. You know, his ability to handle failures without failing. You know, he's able to like say, yes, I screwed that up and it doesn't happen again. Like he learns from things and he's pretty resilient. And I think that's just such an important part of an athlete is be able to handle mistakes like that and move forward.
I remember talking to Brock Faber and you know, we're just, you know, down in the locker room, whatever. I said, I said, you got a good chance at winning the Hobie. And he looked at me, he said, me? He said, and he pointed, he said, if anyone's going to win the Hobie, it's going to be that guy. And he pointed to Lacombe. He thought Lacombe, and rightly so, was the best player in college hockey that year. Really did. He said he's the best defenseman on this team, and we have Johnson and myself and blah, blah, blah. And, and all the other good ones around the country. But he had nothing. He thought Lacombe deserved it. And he wasn't even a candidate.
And I remember that season, the Gophers had so many games where they were tied or down a goal.
Yeah.
And they could pull the goalie, and he would just control the blue line out there and create offense and make plays. It was unbelievable.
Do you remember that pass he made in Fargo to Logan Cooley?
Mm-hmm. On the breakaway?
On the breakaway? I mean, that was like so elite that I didn't even, I couldn't even comment on the air. I was like, did you just see that pass? I was like, but it was great.
If you could pick one player out of recent memory to most help this year's Gopher roster, it would be Jackson Lacombe.
Oh,
if you could pluck, Mike Crowley would be pretty good too, but
yeah, Mike Crowley would be pretty good.
Yeah, one of those guys.
Yeah, we missed that, don't we?
A little bit.
Yeah, but
yeah, well, there's still time, guys.
Hey, I'm not giving up. Listen. The beauty of this year is that it's not a 2-game or 2 out of 3. It's a 1 and done. And you don't know on any particular night how a team is feeling when they jump on the ice. Are they ready? Are they not ready? Is this underdog team going to just somehow pull themselves together and, do what you have to do to win a hockey game? You don't know. And that's what college hockey. I mean, I'll go back last year to Fargo. I thought Minnesota State was a better team against Western Michigan. They took them to overtime, and we're this close from beating them, the national champion.
Mm-hmm.
So you just don't know. So I'm just hoping that this team can find a formula that will get them in a rhythm where they can be a tough out.
And I will say, it looks like Luca's going to be a steady goalie for them going forward. Their power play looks very good. I think what they just need to do is they need to get some defensemen who are more confident adding themselves to the play. And if they can do that in the next 6 weeks here, they're going to be going into a Big Ten tournament where there's a very good chance 3 teams are going to have number 1 seeds locked up. And think about one's
that.
Already in.
Think about that.
You're going to have 4 teams that are pretty much guaranteed to be in the tournament.
Yes.
3 of them as number 1 seeds. Not a whole lot to play fair there, with those programs. So,
right. And as we've seen, as the number 1 seed, Minnesota's lost in the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
So
last year,
you never know, right? And that's the thing. These guys got to keep their attitude up and keep working because they are young. And I don't want to see them quit, and I don't think anyone does, and I don't think they want to quit. And so, let's let it play out.
All right. Well, Pat, give me your prediction on the weekend at Michigan State. By the way, Friday on Big Ten Plus only, or of course the radio with Pat and Wally.
Yeah.
And then I believe, Saturday night it's going to be Ben Holden probably and Fred Pletch.
And Fred, Ben and Fred.
So, yeah. So they'll be calling that game on Big Ten Network or Wally and Pat on the radio. But what do you think, Pat? What's going to happen?
I think it's going to be tough. I think Michigan is finding their way, or Michigan State, I'm sorry. Big 2 wins at Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So I think they're finding their way. I think it's going to be tough. Do you want a prediction?
Yeah, I do.
I think it'll be tough to win a game this weekend.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong.
I'm picking the same. I see 0 points coming out this weekend, Vigs. I know.
And guess what? It doesn't really matter now.
Yeah.
Because they're not gonna get home ice.
Actually, they could still technically, but
I don't think so. I mean, they'd have to run the table and have a lot of help.
But we were testing a new picks game this past weekend in Vegas. I know you had a little more positivity on your picks against Minnesota, Michigan. But how are you feeling this week going to Mon Arena?
I did technically pick 0 points last week.
Oh, did you?
And they got one. And they got one.
We got one. They did get one. Yeah, we did. It's a rough January.
It's a rough January. And I just don't see it yet.
No.
Michigan State's playing very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
They're a very high-end team. They're deep. They've got good goaltending. I find it difficult for Minnesota to get points this weekend as well.
I'm just looking for some positive strides. I want to see all the things that we talked about, right? And I want to see effort. I want to see him play hard for 60. And if they can do that, I'm not so worried about the wins and losses now because, quite frankly, like I said, I don't know if they matter. I really don't know if they matter, but I want them to just continue to get better. But those are but they're not going to get better unless they work on the things that we discussed. And so that's where I'm at.
Final thoughts, Vigs?
I think the biggest thing is to watch this weekend. Paulson back in the lineup.
Yep.
How comfortable does he actually look? Does the coaching staff keep Lamb, Mooney, and Zemer together? I think that could be an interesting 5-on-5 group for Minnesota. And then are we going to see the young defensemen take steps getting involved in the offensive zone? I think that's critical for them. I think oftentimes Cal Thomas is hesitant sometimes to take risk. He's going to have to for this team to get better. He's going to have to be more comfortable taking on risk, as are the other D. So that's what I'll be watching for this weekend, because the only way up is through.
I concur.
Well, thanks for being on our 300th episode.
Hey, to me, I was on number 100, right? Or 150.
Well, 250, a bunch of them. You've been on a bunch.
Yeah. But I'm honored to be on 300. You guys are the best. Love you both. Thank you. And
the thing is, you were on KFAN at the same time tonight.
Yeah, I know.
How did you do that?
Huh? Yeah, same time. I taped it this morning, and
Yeah, following this is like, well, how can you be live when you're on? Well,
yeah, I know. Yeah,
he likes us better.
Exactly.
But
all right, thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it, and hopefully another 300 shows.
Yep, sounds great.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the GPL podcast. We'll be back next week with we got Mileski coming on because the Badgers will be in town. So stay tuned for that. For those of you watching live, it's time for overtime. Of course, we're going to overtime. But for the rest of you, we'll catch you next week on the GPL podcast. If you are watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and get notified each time we go live or post a video. If you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please rate our show and leave a review. For those of you watching live, you know what's next. It's Vigo's Beverage of the Week. It's time for overtime. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, scrambling a little bit. Had to go in the cellar. Pulled out a surly Vietnamese coffee darkness. So rum barrel age imperial stout with coffee, vanilla, coconut. 2020. Figured I'd go deep into the archives for something.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Look at that. Oh, brother. How bad was that Ludke drop pass? Oh, cheers. Yeah, that was bad, Eric.
Mhm.
That was bad.
Good coffee flavor, holding up. Always not sure about the rum barrels, but this one's pretty good with the coffee.
15 years and 300 episodes. Yeah, we don't go every week, when the team's off, we're not doing shows. We're gonna do maybe one show a summer now, but we're not one of those weekly shows that just goes on every week no matter what.
We don't talk just to talk usually.
Yeah, but 15 years, that is 15th season. There's been a lot of people who've come and gone, Vigs.
For sure. And we just keep doing it, even in the down times like right now. Grimmer and I were talking in the availability today. He's like, yeah, tough times in Gopher Nation when it's just us. So challenge.
Yeah. What do you do? Well, I have a call in for some people tonight, so we've got some guests. We'll see. A lot of people are busy, so
it's a busy time of year. I'm gonna be at 2 hockey tournaments this weekend. I have the rare off night where I'm not at a rink tonight, though I was at a basketball court earlier tonight. So I did run into Mote at the last.
I saw that
Gopher game.
Yeah, Mote was messaging me. He's like, "You gonna be there?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll probably be there." But then I just things were on. I didn't make it. I'm like, be sure to look out for Vigs. He comes into the club room, a couple times, but between periods, find him. And you found him.
Yep. I did not know Mote was that tall.
I was telling Barb about that. I go, Mote's a tall dude. And
yeah,
he's looking down on Vigs.
Yeah, I was expecting, I saw his photo with you, and I was like, oh, he's a tall guy. I'm a tall guy. It'll be good. And then I see him. I was like, I got to look up to this one here. So, yeah.
It's like Rombach. Yeah, we're trying. Keep pushing.
Where are we at right now? Where are we at?
I'd have to look. Let me see here. It's like gosh, it was the 860s last time I looked.
869.
There nice. You go.
Okay, we'll keep going though. We're not going anywhere. We're sticking around with this program. We're gonna, if it takes a little CBD to get us going, keep us in the game here.
Look at that. Minty fresh Vigs?
Yeah, lemongrass roll on here. Rub it in.
Nice.
Little aches and pains. A lot of shots being taken this year by these forearms. So
kids getting older, they're getting to be better shots too.
Well, you got to shoot harder on the goalies as they get older. So
and they get bigger too. Yeah.
Yeah. When the squirts, you don't have to shoot as hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Motzko's doing the only thing he can do, I think, with this group. There's no easy fixes when it goes this way. I think he had hoped Gruba and Thomas would take bigger steps offensively.
Yeah.
And I think they hoped McLaughlin would be an option who could provide some offense. We just haven't seen it. And Gruba getting hurt when he did, I don't think he's 100% healthy. He's had some injury stuff and just doesn't look comfortable out there. So it's tough. I think it's going to have to come with Rombach and Middlestat making big strides. And maybe McLaughlin will get some more ice time. Whipple, he was one of the better defensemen in his age group for a while, but they need him to get a little bit better.
So I wanted to bring this up. So just the other day you were talking to me, hey, we need some kind of NPI thing tracking on GPL. And I was just, I don't need that up there right now, but that's okay. So, it'd be cool if we could chart some of this stuff. And sure enough, I was in the process of working on that, Vigs, and you gave me this idea. I was like, hey, let's take a look at this and pick a team. Let's say Boston University. Let's see what Connecticut and Dartmouth, and it just tracks these teams for the season for their their NPI, their NBA value, or their ranks.
Mhm.
You kind of see the trends throughout the season, which is kind of cool because this is a new system this year. You could even compare. Let's come in. Let's check from 1st of December to now. Run a comparison, and it kind of tells you, hey, what are some of these teams how they're doing? How far up and down are they since a certain period of time? So, just some fun little features. You threw that idea to me. I'm like, geez, I think I can make this happen. And so, we're trying to do some different stuff. Some that maybe some of the other places aren't doing, and
Yeah, way to execute on that. Like I just look at Michigan State going from 10 to 2, and you look what they did. 2 big wins at Wisconsin. That's massive
that
in
was
MPI this year. If you can beat a good team on the road, it's really going to help your MPI, and it just shows that impact. I was thinking about the Gophers this week. I was just like, man, what would have happened if they had just split these games? It would have made such a huge difference to start this second half with some splits instead of losing all the games so far here.
Yeah, because there's Minnesota's chart for the year. Kind of peaking around that Denver game time, Ohio State, and then back down since then. So yikes. But it's been fun kind of programming some of the stuff. Another thing you mentioned the other day, hey, let's do some kind of fantasy thing. And we create a picks game, which is it's going to be kind of fun. I'm just calling it Gopher Strike because it's going to be all about picking games. Well, I'm not logged in here, but picking games like this weekend. You pick Minnesota to win or lose. So a win is either 2 points or 3 points. A loss is 0 or 1 point. And then we kind of score it like if you win one game, it's like getting a strike in a bowling. Win the second game, you're adding more points to game one. Win the third game, you're adding more points to game one. So it's kind of this accumulative thing, similar to bowling. So we're trying it out for the rest of the season. What do we got? About 30 people doing it so far, 31. Just some fun little stuff. It's funny. You were just talking about that. And like, geez, funny. I was just working on this last night. So some fun little things we've been adding. Just we'll see how it goes. Like I said, this is a test. It'll be a little better for next year when we're ready for a full season. But just different kinds of fun stuff we're trying to do.
We're like the Coneheads. We're just kind of thinking alike on some of this stuff here. So I think it'll be fun. I think maybe at some point we could have like a pickup player to click or something like kind of thing or something, or like a survivor league.
Some kind of bonus. Yeah.
Like you get to pick up a player, and if they score, you're alive. If they go scoreless, you're out. Stuff like that.
But the thing is, if you get shut out, everybody's out. That game. I mean, do you pick like nobody scores that night? That would be that.
Or you pick a nobody. You pick somebody from the other team, maybe.
Oh, see, that would be tricky though, because then I'd have to put all the players from all the other teams in.
Yeah, I'm just trying to create more work for you, Jube. It's all about creating work for you.
No, but it's been fun. Like I said, I did your poll stuff. Now it's easily accessible and all on one screen. And
yeah, I'm looking forward to using that as the year comes down to a close here with like what made the biggest impact in people's rankings. What maybe gets them into the tournament or keeps them out of it. I think that's going to be fun to track.
Yeah, because you could chart it and things like that. And for you, if you wanted, you could literally just go in and say, add a new poll. You could have it populate the previous week. It's got little notes for each team because I know also you'd like to take notes for each team.
Yep.
Just trying to make things easier for you.
Thank you.
Plus, it helps me, learn stuff too. So I like doing that. So we may have some guests. I even threw a call out to Drew. Drew, if you're watching, get on here. I sent you a link, Drew. Let's go. Someone to Drew, a couple other people. Some of the three of the boys, Ramsey, Shearhorn, and those guys. We'll see. Shearhorn might be able to join us around 8:30. We'll see.
I thought he was pretty good on the radio broadcast. I listened to him for about half the weekend. And I thought he was real. Sometimes it was raw, and sometimes it was really real.
Sometimes he was real raw.
Mhm.
Oh boy.
But he's just like, what do you do? I mean, they're not executing.
Yeah.
You're not. It was kind of funny in the pregame for Saturday. Wally kind of gave Bob a softball for the coach's comment to open the pregame show, and Bob just goes, "Oh, so we're just gonna butter over everything that happened last night?" He's like, "No, we're gonna talk about it." I was just like, "Dude, it's your team." sometimes when you're interviewing Bob, he either wants you to get into it and get dirty so he can get critical, and other times he wants to deflect it and be all positive. So it's hard to read. It's like you need a heads up.
I got like maybe 35 seconds out of him Friday night. And I'm like, this is just not worth posting. It's just like, because you could tell he was angry. He was disappointed. I'm like, and I was there by myself again at the time. It's me and a bunch of the stats guys. Oh, look at this.
Wellsy.
Put the call out and look at that. Nate Wells, what is going on, man?
Party
look at that. Drew put the call out to you, didn't he?
Yeah.
Where's
he
Drew?
Did. I don't know. He said he might hop on, but look, I got to give credit to Pat for having an early one so I can get on here. But mostly, guys, I got to come on. Congrats on 300.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah.
How is it on the East Coast?
It's good. I saw the Gophers a couple weeks ago out of Penn State. That was not as good, but
did you take the bus to Penn State?
No, I drove back through a snow squall. I don't recommend that for the Poconos.
You're used to that. That's nothing. All those mountain roads.
But yeah, I've seen the Gophers 3 times this year. They're 0-3. So
I think a lot of people could say the same thing.
Yeah.
The Gophers 3 times this year.
Yeah.
I don't think they're above 500 when I've seen them. So
Steve says, "Hey Nate." There we go.
Hey Steve. It's good. It's
good out there.
I was gonna say, yeah. Life is good. I'm enjoying it. It was nice to be back. It was nice to see you, Jupe, in October when I went to Mariucci.
Mm-hmm.
Viggs,
unfortunately, I missed you, but
yeah, I'm usually a Saturday night guy for the most part, if I can. This, complications of being a parent of an 11 and 13-year-old.
Oh man,
and a coach,
and being their coach. So.
And rescuing, outdoor ice and all that other stuff. How is the outdoor ice?
Really good this year. We've had a couple days where it's gotten warm, but the ice has recovered every time. So at least we have that this year. So it's been good. It's going to get really cold this weekend. So I know one of our colleagues, Langford Park, usually has a winter classic, which is an outdoor tournament. And they, have squirt and peewee games. They had to cancel it this year because it's going to be, I think, 45, 50 below wind chills this weekend.
Jeez.
So
hockey day.
I was gonna say it's hockey day this weekend, right?
Poor Hastings.
Oh,
like they built such a nice facility.
Oh, they did.
I hope they have heated benches and stuff just to save them. I feel really bad for the goalies.
They do. They do
that's
because
be hard.
They had that at Shakopee last year. It wasn't that too cold at Alumni. They have these huge kind of inflatable things that just throw a lot of heat. So it's kind of nice, actually.
Yeah, those goalies are going to have those new electric jackets, that can heat you. So,
come on, we never had that. Come on, we had moon boots. We had, jeans.
Apparently, putting cayenne pepper in your socks. That's the new thing. Have you heard about this?
No.
One of the NFL teams played in a really cold game. I think it was it the Bears? Maybe
it's probably Rams Bears or on that one. So that one was
I think it was the Bears. I think they put cayenne pepper in their socks to keep the circulation going. So I haven't tried that before, but hey, try it out. Let me know how it goes. Worked for the Bears.
Oh, there he is. Look at what we got. Shearhorn coming in here. Look at that. How's it going, Eric? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, muted. Or maybe he's got the wrong mic picked.
Maybe that. Oh, we got him. Look at us. Well, let's Shearhorn's figuring it out. Yeah, we're okay. We're okay.
All right, how we doing?
There we go. There's Drew Cove too, man.
Oh my
Hey.
God, what crew!
How's
I
it going, guys?
know.
Congrats.
Yeah, Nate beat you to it there, Drew.
I know. I was waiting. I actually had to get. I had to crack open a beer in honor. But
Look
it's
at
a
that.
Buddha Pills Lunar Eclipse, the Czech dark lager. Really good. Really good. If you're out at Uda Pills, check out the sauna. They have a sauna on their patio this winter.
I didn't know that.
It's really good.
And if
Yep.
you're at Uda Pills, buy some pull tabs. It supports hockey in North and Northeast Minneapolis.
Mm.
Even better.
Even better.
One-stop shop.
Yeah.
Where else can we do that? Do they have that at 1029 too? And all those, there's so many great spots that should have pull tabs in Northeast. I feel like that's a gold mine.
It should be a gold mine. It's hard to kind of get your allegiances with pull tabs for, it's a competitive business, but the Titans have pull tabs at Uda Pills and I think one other place, I can't remember the name though. So poor coach for that, but I'll find out.
Noted. How is the man, Pat Mick?
He was a
What's
little
he
fired
saying?
up. He
Was
called
he?
a couple guys out, didn't he, Viggs?
He did call a couple guys out, and then he kind of caught himself. He's like, I'm trying to stay positive. It's just so hard. It's so hard to be positive when you see
It's
so
not
many
in his
things you want to go
DNA.
after. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. He wants to get it fixed now.
Yeah.
So, Eric, how are you feeling being, on the sidelines now? You weren't playing that long ago, and this has got to be rough on you at times, isn't it?
Gosh, rough on me. That might be a stretch. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want them to be good, and they're like my team because I'm from Alaska. We don't have an NFL team, NBA team, NHL team, you name it. So this is my first experience with true allegiance to a program, and a bit of my happiness being reliant on kids performing. So yeah, it is hard for sure. It's certainly more fun to call games and to watch games when they're good. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to go break things in my house because of it. I'm sure it'll work itself out. But yeah, it's been a little rough sledding for him lately, huh?
To say the least.
Yeah, that Michigan team's pretty good too, though, eh?
They are.
Yeah.
Nate, I had something for you, Nate. How has it been being off social media? I noticed you do check in once in a while. And like you say, hey, I haven't updated, how many hundreds of seasons it's been since the Minnesota team has won. But I think you're feeling pretty good about, getting away from the social media, haven't you?
Yeah, it feels fantastic because I was hitting a point by the end of it where I was hating being on it. I was hating going on it. Like there's certainly a lot of people I miss those conversations, but I'm trying to think when I went off of it somewhere around like November of last year. And like I went to Chicago a couple months before that with my wife, and I was off of everything for a few days, and I just went to her and turned. I was like, I need to get off of social media. Like I know this is bad for me. I know I don't need this. I know I need to get off of it. And finally, like it still took another couple months, but it definitely the best decision I made. I think I pretty much, like you said, I will look in twice a month or whatever. I'll get all the big news, and that's
you
about
look,
it.
You look but don't touch, don't you?
No, I don't even do that. It literally is like I will look on, like I will go on, I'll update like once or twice a month, and that's about it. I'll look away, I'll go away, and then it's just gone.
Good for you, man. Jeez.
Yeah, I don't think I've looked on Twitter for over a year at this point.
I think Eric Shearhorn's last tweet was 2024 replying to a chirp from Ramsey. And other than that, like you have to go back to like 2022 and 2021.
Well,
I keep a low profile.
He was doing PMs because that's how we were getting him a couple times, before, is that we were going through PM. So he was checking it once in a while. But
one of my last tweets, it looks like, was a retweet of Lou Nanny calling out the refs for the bad penalty call that ended my senior class's Gopher career, the hook that wasn't a hook against Notre Dame.
Poor
Sheehy.
Yeah, that was tough, huh?
I've said before, he was a good sport about it because literally for 2 seasons after that, something would go wrong, and I would just tweet out, "That's Sheehy's fault." and he would like the tweet. So I'm glad, it sucked, that it ended the way it did, but I'm glad he did at least have a good sense of humor about it.
Yeah, that was tough.
I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
So
Whatever.
Drew, when are you going to make an appearance down at Mariucci? You ever going to come back down there? Just say you're writing for somebody. I need help down there because sometimes I'm downstairs by myself and I don't ask questions.
You just got to send the bat signal and then just say, all right, this is a GPL credential today. Just a rotating one or something.
I don't know.
I got to.
Have I seen the byline in Minnesota Hockey Magazine though for you, Drew?
Yeah. I haven't had a lot of time to do a lot of stuff for them this winter, but I talked to the local organizing committee, which at least to me was like kind of like the cigar smoke filled room in my head where I'm like, well, Hockey Day happens every year, but how, like, who's all the people behind the scenes, like, pulling the strings? And I got to talk to the mayor of Hastings. I got to talk to Gopher alum Jeff Tafe and a few other. I think Jason Stoffel. He's a parent I talked to him. He was a great conversation. He's a parent in the Hastings community. As a couple kids in the organization. It was great to talk to. It's I think he's listened to some of these pods over the years. But if he's listening now, shout out Jason. Thanks for the great conversation. But it was cool to understand just kind of how long, like 6 months of secrecy, basically, of understanding that, like, all right, we know this is going to happen. And then going on to figuring out how to plan this thing and kind of learning from all the other past committees and kind of understanding from them, be like, all right, here's where you get all this stuff. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do X, Y, and Z. And one cool thing about this year is that they have the permanent rink at the United Heroes League facility. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it down there to see it. I know I'd have to wear a lot of clothes to do so, but I thought last year was pretty chilly, but I thought Minneapolis in 2020 was cold, but I think this is going to absolutely take the cake.
It wasn't too bad because I know, Eric, you played in the kind of game,
the pickup game.
Alumni game, and I don't think it was too bad.
No,
but it looks like Hastings has a really nice setup. Shakopee was.
So I actually thought that was pretty cool, but I'll say that not having known really what previous setups were like. But I don't know, you walked in there and it was kind of neat that you had the roller coasters in the background and stuff. And I don't think I realized like how big of a production it was because I'd never been to one. And I kind of saw that it was on TV, but didn't always watch. But like you walk in there and there's full like infrastructure build out of tents and bonfires and, games where you can win prizes. And so I was like, damn, this is really cool. And this is all for high school hockey, which again, you remind yourself that this happens nowhere else but Minnesota to this level. So I don't know any different, but I still thought it was pretty sweet. I'm sure you could get a better backdrop, on a lake somewhere up north, or I don't know what they're doing for Hastings this year, but I thought it was really well done. Ice was pretty good too.
Yeah, the ice wasn't too bad at all. So, I mean, they've had issues with ice in the past. I know, Veeks, but they've had some outdoor games where it's too warm and the sun has caused trouble. And then you had a game at Whip, was it Baudette Bay, that was just colder than this coming weekend, I think it was.
Yeah, I think when it's warm and it's sunny, you're going to have a hard time. Just painted lines are going to be tricky. The NHL, they're able to cover the rink sometimes with tarps to try to prevent that from becoming an issue. But Hockey Day isn't quite there, but the ice is pretty good when it's cold enough. What were you going to say, Nate?
I remember talking to Nick Bukestad about that game up in Baudette, and he was just like, because it was right before they did the outdoor game at Soldier Field. And he was just like, this is the coldest I've ever felt in my life. It took me about 2 or 3 weeks to recover. And it was just, it's one of those things where you're like, it's a fun thing to do once.
Yep. Yeah. Me and my dad were at that game about 10 rows from the top. It was cold.
You're still cold from it?
Yeah. Well, yeah,
I
like
don't know.
Brever's saying in the chat too. I mean, talking to some of the organizers, they just wanted as many youth teams as possible to be able to come out and use that facility. That's why it's like longer than any other thing this year.
Yeah.
I think it's 8 days. It was 7 or 8 days, and that's at least 2 or 3 days longer, I think, than any hockey day in the past has been. And obviously they're doing that AHL thing, so that's kind of wild. Like that's just another logistical thing in itself that I certainly didn't go behind the scenes in, but that would have been a cool sight just to see like how the logistics work to get, you know, the second level league in the country to play a game outside in Hastings. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So Randy was just too busy tonight, Eric?
Yeah, I don't know what his excuse was. It was ridiculous. But I'm gonna go Step Brothers on you guys. How about I interview you? What's been the most memorable podcast for you guys?
Well, we did have one instance when one of one of Cooley's girlfriends was in the chat ripping on him live during his show.
That was definitely an interesting time. That was a good one.
So was he on the team at the time?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, no.
You guys did current players.
We don't do current players, but Cooley's girlfriend was in the chat.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
it wasn't his girlfriend. It was a girl.
Yeah.
So
it was a girl.
Gotcha.
It was during a bit of a high-profile time for Cooley, breaking hearts.
Yeah. Okay. College kid breaking hearts? No, that never happens. I
so
did
out
have
of the 300 Pulley getting ripped in the chat by a random girl.
well, you've seen the intro. You know, Drew, you're part of the intro.
Yeah.
You know,
I was about to ask you, but you're going to be making mistakes?
Mistakes on Thanksgiving Eve. Actually, I think the mistakes was, I think it was for a regional. It was at the end of the season. Of course, I keep that part of the intro now. So you're always in the intro there, Jupe, or for ripping on me, basically, or Feig's doing that.
Yeah, no, that's one of the best clips.
I think one of my favorite pods is when we had Leo on, and he was just telling story after story after story. Because, like, for me, you know, Leo was a star player. Like when I was probably at my height of rubedom.
Sure.
I was not yet thinking I was going to be a journalist kind of guy. I was thinking I was just a fan, and my dad had season tickets in '72, so I grew up going to games. And I often have told Pat when he was, you know, floating in the neutral zone, I was standing up on the bench as a 7-year-old watching him float, and then I'd see him get penalties and come to the penalty box right in front of me. But having Jordan on was really fun to see all the stories that he was telling with Angel, and it was helpful to have him on there to kind of prompt story after story. So for me, that was probably one of my favorite pods.
Yeah, it was a good one. Angel told a good story last week. I was listening to bring myself up to speed on Michigan before I had the call, and the one talking about Grant, and I can't remember who.
He didn't say who the defenseman was.
He didn't say who, did he?
Maybe it was him, and he
got in a tilt before the national.
I had never heard that story. That was fascinating.
I was just shocked that, like, I would expect the shoe to be on the other foot, and Grant would be, you know, bitching someone out for not standing tough in front of the net. That's what shocked me.
These are the stories you just never hear.
I know.
So I would agree that was a pretty good show. We've had some late shows. I think the longest show might have been with Cappy for one of those Vigs. We've been really late, and then Cappy's been in Florida, so it's like another hour later for him.
Yeah,
I've had my daughter cooking during a podcast, and the smoke detector started going off live during a show. We were still doing audio; it wasn't video back then. I've had that. Vigs, you've done the podcast live from your car.
Yeah, when my son was born, it was a lot in our 1-bedroom condo to do a podcast. So I just decided to go out in the car because I still got a pretty good Wi-Fi signal from it. And so I could just park in the Honda Civic and podcast from there. So that was pretty good to keep the show going.
I love it.
And of course, our second guest ever was Frank Mazzacco. He kind of gave us a really kind of a boost just to start out a podcast, and he's on the show number 2. that was cool, especially for us.
You guys ever have Wally on?
We have had Wally on. He's been on once. I need to talk to him. He's not on social media,
No,
and he's not much for responding for texts either.
Well, he's a little technically challenged, other than he can do an entire radio broadcast all by himself if he needed to. But the StreamYard thing, he has not seemed a lot of interest.
He did it once.
So.
Well, we should get him on again.
Yeah, he's great. I feel like, that guy has called so many games. He's got to have a ton of stories.
Oh, he does, and we hear them.
Yeah.
A lot of good blend stories.
The key with Wally is we got to get him into OT, and we probably have to send him like a 6-pack. You're like, hey, here, thanks for being on the show. Here's a 6-pack. The stipulation is that you have to drink all 6 beers during our overtime,
and you got to let it fly.
Just
get him going on the refs, and then he's
get
him right fired up.
Sometimes we'll be at some post-game beverages and at a certain establishment, and the referees will be there. I don't want to talk to them. Those guys are effing horrible. And those guys, I'm like, they're just guys, just like you and me.
He's got that passion.
He does. It's fun. It's totally fun.
Yeah.
Is there a time limit on StreamYard that if he got a 6-pack and went? Could you guys do a 6-7 hour?
I don't think you got to worry about 6-7 hours with Wally putting down cold ones. So,
he always gets the same beer. I'm trying to remember what it was.
You guys should do a live podcast post game. Wally, couple beers. You guys, couple beers. Whoever else goes to the gathering, a couple beers, and then just let it fly, snap it around a little bit.
Sweet 13.
Yeah,
Sweet 5 is what it was.
Sweet 5. Sorry,
it was Sweet 5 back in the day. That would be fun. We have done the club room post game, just a little bigger area, and it's a lot quieter too. Some of our post game wouldn't really work at certain places because it's so loud. But
yeah, that's
I think
true.
we're trying to make it. Towards the end of the season, we try to find a Saturday game where we can hang out in the club room afterwards, get some pizza, stuff like that. And we've had some big crowds for that, Vigs. I know. Slarks was there, and Slarks' parents were there last year because they were here for that game. So it was nice to be able to, Slarks finishes up. He's writing, he's doing all that stuff for the year, and he comes on over, and his parents are there. So
yeah, but I think what Eric wants is he wants us to do a podcast in that situation.
Yeah,
and that's what I'd like to do.
You guys do a live podcast at one of these places.
Well, our designated post game would be too loud. You wouldn't be able to hear us. But
you could set up an event sponsored by Pull Tab Sports and
you don't give King your ideas.
Duke Cannon, is that what it is?
Cup Foods and Cascade CBX.
Sorry,
those are our current sponsors.
Disregard.
So I do like the Duke Cannon. So
Foggy Geezer, that must be the beer. Okay, Craig Floor, get on the show.
Any favorite podcast memories from Nate, Drew, or Eric that you can call back to where you've just been like, I can't believe these guys are doing this?
I remember I had a couple times. I remember it a couple of times. This goes way back. This is when Vigs was on the doing the calling in from the car, and he would just die out, and I would just be in the chat or whatever talking, and Jupe would just be like, Nate, call in, get on here. We need someone to talk. And to see it go from that to actually be a legitimate podcast with Cub Foods as a sponsor or whatever, it warms my heart. It's nice to be one of those lesser guests or whatever that Pat Micheletti was ripping on at the beginning of the show. So I was like, yeah, I'll take it.
Pat is not the leader in shows. It's Molesky and Cappy. They've been on the most, and Frank is way up there as well. He's been on a lot of times.
What about Schloss?
I was up there for a bit. Yeah, Schloss has to be now too. But I've been passing on that.
Well, I've got the numbers. Hold on, let me bring that up. Talk amongst yourselves.
So, Vigs, give me a state of the recruiting class next year, because someone was asking me about that the other day, and I just have no idea.
We saw this in the chat tonight. What's going to happen with this program next year? Because there are a lot of holes, and Maceo and Kvasnicka are the top 2 kids who are playing post-draft a year before coming. I think both of them were talked about as maybe mid-season ads, but I think, neither of them really provides what this program is missing right now. So they're probably the two most mature players coming. But I do think Cullen and Harper are going to come early. And I just think they need that talent infusion. Harper's a defenseman who's playing for Saginaw, kind of a later bloomer in terms of his national status, but he's a puck-moving defenseman that they so dearly need. Yeah. And I think Cullen, he's a kid who's grown like 6 inches in the last year. So now he's like a 6-foot first-round NHL type prospect. I think if you were to push him out a year, you're only going to have him for 2 then. So why not just go through the growing pains of adding that kind of talent now to the roster? And I think, he's had some injury issues, but I think a lot of that's related to him growing so much and his body having to catch up. At least that's what I hear from people closer to him than me. And then I really think portal is going to be important. It, right? Yeah, it's going to be important for this program if they don't want to take another dip and the defensemen aren't making as progress like you'd want, the centers aren't making progress like you'd want, you're going to be looking for offensive defensemen and guys who can win faceoffs and play, 200-foot game at center.
Viggs, you talk about Levi Harper, 43 games played, 8 goals, 27 assists for 35 points.
Yeah, and he plays for a coaching staff that really promotes offensive defensemen. It's like they're a program that wants their D joining the play in the offensive zone as much as possible. That's 100% what they need right now at Minnesota. So,
and another thing, Nate, as not overtime guest, but regular guest, you're actually 4th.
Wow.
You are at 9 appearances, just behind Frank Mazzacco with 11. Cove, you're down there at 6. You're tied with Schlossman. Pat just moved to number 9, actually, I guess, too, since he just was on tonight. So I don't count the overtimes. Maybe I should, but because if we did the overtimes, you'd probably be even further up there. Both of you, actually.
I feel like overtimes don't count. They're not. They shouldn't be tracked. It's not part of the recording. It's not tracked. So
yeah, it's on YouTube though. Which you're obviously trending more towards. Subscribe, people. Subscribe.
And Eric, just to finish out my recruiting class, Gavin Katz is probably the other forward to watch. He was kind of a late bloomer at Shattuck St. Mary's. He's like a point-a-game player in the USHL right now. Maybe a potential center for them. He's a little bit on the smaller side, but I think he's a player that might be ready next year.
Yeah, I feel like it's got to kind of be a combo of and maybe you don't want to bring too many guys in from the portal that, backlog another good recruiting class that's not next year, but the year after. But even if they go out and snag like that is it Tyler Duke on Michigan?
Yep.
He's a senior, I think. And they snagged him and now he's producing points for them and he's there for a year and then they can have other guys fill in and just be a one and done on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah, I think that they're going to run out of room if they add too many younger players, but I definitely think there's room for, a 4th, 5th year type guy. I know the 5th year is kind of going away, but who knows with the NCAA these days.
Craig Floor.
Oh,
kids.
Look at that.
Yeah. Whoa.
One of our most famous overtime guests.
Ooh.
He's gotten himself in trouble at times.
More than once.
What did you get in trouble for?
Just
ripping on basketball or something like
that.
Well,
Sort of. Yeah. There was something in basketball I got cut off and others heard things and I'm like, I wasn't bashing anybody. So, but
what are you gonna do?
It is what it is. It is what it is.
You gotta keep playing the company line.
That's what to say.
Well, Craig Floyd, the financial report for 2025 just got posted this week, so I won't talk about it with you.
Won't talk about that either.
But it's out there now.
I know.
That doesn't sound positive.
My contribution to the revenue stream is gone.
Yeah, no more graduations, or are they going to start to happen again?
Nope.
No, they're done. Okay.
Yeah, like high school ones anyway. So, yeah. long gone.
How much revenue do those high school graduations bring in?
Because I did 23 of them last year. Eric,
It's got to be a decent amount, no?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was doing
right.
quite well.
Look, I was doing quite well.
Our staff, our building, we did quite well with what we did
yeah.
for 23 commencements. So,
Huh.
One thing, Vigs, does Carter Casey come in next year? Because there is an opening for goalies next year because Zach Weiss is a senior.
He's not the clear number one for Medicine Hat right now, so I don't know.
True, but there's a spot.
There's a spot though. That as much as Bob doesn't like the portal as an old school coach, he recognizes it works really well at goalie because you can bring in someone with a track record that you can be comfortable with. So I do think that's an opportunity for them to add someone there. As much as they like Nathan Airy, like he's a good technical goalie, it's just like he hasn't been able to put it all together. They've given him a couple chances to do it. Maybe they still have patience for that. He looks like a good goalie. It's just that one goal a game he's given up because he gives it away or something is hurting him. Is that fair, Eric? Goalie whisper?
Yeah. I don't know if I can accept that title, but yeah, I would agree. I mean, he's a big boy. He was good in junior, obviously. And he is fundamentally sound, but his numbers would say that he's not great, or hasn't been great. So I mean, yeah, what are you going to do? You don't think they'd rerun the same tandem back? I mean, DePasqua has played himself the last handful of games into like, okay, we can win with this guy, I think, the way he's playing and keeping him in games. So, like, I guess I wouldn't feel like that's my top priority for them to fill that hole. If you got Luka coming back and Aries solid and still – has potential if they feel that way. And so, okay, we can run it back with these guys because we know we got at least one that can win. And if his game falls off or if he gets hurt, we've got a serviceable backup. I don't know. I just feel like rushing to the portal. I mean, if it's there, I guess, but going to the portal just for a backup or a 1B feels like there's a lot of other places that they can find guys to fill holes.
Yeah, I think if Luka's back, he's a clear guy.
So is there a question if he is not going to be back?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, but you never know these days.
True.
We're in a weird era of college athletics. Like you hope he's going to be back, but he's just adjusting to it this year, and maybe that's why he gets to be number one down the stretch. And I do think Airy, his biggest issue probably has been on the penalty kill and just his reads as a goalie. And that to me is like a hockey sense of goalie that's hard to evaluate until you see it in games. Can they look at a scouting report for another team's power play and anticipate what they're trying to do and be in position to save goals that probably you shouldn't be able to make, but because your hockey sense is so good, you see the play happening. You're like, well, they have to be moving it here for this shot. I'm going to be there and I'm going to be ready and use my size. And it seems like in the PK, especially, he gets out of position, with his slides and things like that. So,
yeah, I think that can be an issue with the big boys that are super fundamental is they can just be so rigid. At least that's what I told myself as a somewhat undersized goalie is they can just be rigid and, they've been big enough and sound enough their whole life that they could be good at the prior level. But when you take a step up and then continue to progress through the leagues, and into pro, like you have to be able to read plays and you have to be able to react a little bit because the shooters are just that much better and they can fit it in tighter windows. And so just going down and block, I mean, I'm oversimplifying it. Going down and blocking doesn't always get it done, I guess.
Okay. I know you're limited on time, Shearhorn.
Yeah.
Do you have any Craig Floor stories? And Craig Floor, do you have any Eric Shearhorn stories that you could tell?
Do I have any Craig Floor stories?
I know I don't have any on Eric.
Craig was like Craig's like the guy. He's the epitome of the guy that like everything always runs smoothly at Mariucci and no one ever knows why, but it's because it's Craig.
Oh.
And so it's like the offensive lineman in football that like you only hear the guy called out if something gets screwed up. And so as long as everything runs smoothly, he probably doesn't get the flowers that he deserves. But like flying under the radar is the best place to be in the business. Am I right on that, Craig?
You are correct.
Yeah.
You never want to be in the news. You never want to be on the TV broadcast
unless
at a
you're
Gopher game.
Julie Nelson, right?
Well, that's different. That was a different job that I.
It's your other job.
That was the other gig.
On vacation on, so
yeah.
at the grandstand. So.
Yep. So.
We had no issues. I always thought our ice was great. The lighting got an upgrade though. Hey.
Oh, yeah.
I never had an issue with it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
it was very even though. I mean,
Yep.
old
That's
lighting,
what
but it
everybody
was very even, which as a photographer, I loved.
Yep.
I missed that warm up time. That was great.
Craig's back at the lights just as the national anthem starts turning them back on.
Loved it.
3 minutes, Drew. 3 minutes.
Yeah, it was a quintessential, like, just that's how you there was the smell of the almonds and the lights. That's what it was like. Okay,
almonds
this is
are
different, and the band, but like that's the difference in college hockey.
Yeah. St. Cloud had that timing too. They knew exactly what they were doing.
What do you do now then?
The only time you ever got called out was when you like scheduled something and it was Badger weekend. They had to go to the Target Center.
Yep.
And that's the only thing you got in trouble for.
A big one. So.
But that's why you're the Craig Floor.
Oh yeah.
You know everybody. And what you people don't know is like the Craig Floor has a story about everybody. He's just
I do not.
You do.
I didn't have any on Eric.
Yeah,
I don't have any on Nate.
Clean record.
Yeah.
Clean record. Good clean living.
Yeah.
Never flew home from Alaska and forgot his gear and had to scramble or.
No, one my sophomore year, we were home for break, and I had a horrible start to that season. And so people already were probably unpleased with me in the building and on the coaching staff. And like over break, I stayed in shape, whatever, worked out a little bit. And on my way back, I had a bunch of my flights get delayed. And so I was going on, 24 plus hours without sleep, rolling right into our first practice back on might have been the day of Christmas or the 26th or something like that. So, and I was just out of it and I felt lethargic. I felt out of shape, but I hadn't slept in like a day. And then we got in this, tight quarters, like 3-on-3 drill at the end of the practice. And it was just a bagger on the goalies. And I don't puke, like just in general, I don't puke from drinking. I don't puke from working out too hard. Like I hate puking. So I just don't do it. And, I puked because I was getting bagged so hard in this drill at the end of practice and I hadn't slept in 24 hours. And Genner was just motherfucking me because, I wasn't playing well. And now I'm out of shape coming out of break. So now I'm probably not going to play well. But I think we had the Mariucci Classic that weekend. And I don't know, I played good enough and we won both. And actually, I think I might have been the MVP, but I'm not, it's a 4-team tournament and it was like Mercyhurst, UMass when they're bad and someone else we didn't play, maybe like Ferris State. So no gear left behind at break, but apparently my legs and my cardio. Yeah, that wasn't fun.
Genner dropping an F-bomb? No. Never.
He would have a different take on this year's team, I think, if he was coaching right now. I think he and Bob would be at loggerheads with how to deal with this program right now.
Yeah, it wouldn't be fun. You know what? I was talking to Gordo before Saturday's game, and he was just talking about how he tries to keep it light and whatnot, because that's kind of his role on the team, right? As the second assistant, if you want to call him that. And he was telling me about a time when he was playing, and him and Wheeler on a line. I think Mike Hofel was the other guy that he was saying. And they played in Anchorage on Friday, and they lost. They played horrible. His line was like -4 each. And they went into film Saturday morning at the Captain Cook, and they had like a projector screen, whatever, to go over clips. And Gordo walked in the room, and there was 2 chairs like this far away from the projector screen. And as soon as he walked in the room, he felt the grab at his shirt, and he was like, Ben Gordon, I'm going to sit you right here. And Getter walked him up to this far in front of the screen, and he sat him and Wheeler in the first 10 clips were all just them being dogs the night before. So, yeah, he wielded the stick occasionally. He didn't always give hugs.
Sometimes you gotta kick the garbage can, right, Viggs?
You're limited in your opportunities to kick the garbage can the longer time goes on, I think. It's just like kids will tune you out rather than actually take it to heart. We talked about that with Angel last week, like what does it take to change the program? And you need some kids who almost just like, I want you to kick the garbage can about my play, and I'm ready to take it. I remember listening to Topher Scott talk about like coaching and developing. And he had one of those like weeks in junior where everything was going bad. And the coach said, hey, I'm going to make an example of you in front of the team today. I want you to be ready for it. And then you need to have the best practice of your life coming out of it, because I am going to mother F you for about 10 minutes in front of everybody. And now you have to set the standard. And I just think having kids who can take that and respond the right way is getting limited. And I just wonder about that with teams going forward, because I don't know how well guys would react to a coach doing that to them today.
Plus, they could just up and leave. They could just go portal. Yeah. Bye.
I would like to know like how Gordo and Wheeler played like the next couple days.
He said they each had like 4 points and they won.
So that shows a little something about them.
It's just a good international falls in Gordo.
Yep.
Teach them young.
Yeah. Well, I know you got to go, Shihorn. You said 9 o'clock was your limit, so I don't want to take you over. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
You didn't back out like those other 2 schleps did.
Yeah, I know. Loyalty. It's a lost art, speaking of today's generation.
Oh, boy. Just sticking it right into Rossini and Ramsey.
Yeah. Well, thanks for
that.
guys.
No, Rossini, I think he's playing bandy tonight. So
yeah, I know. He's got men's league and bandy. He's booked every night of the week. It's crazy.
Young legs. Young legs.
Yeah.
Inspiring.
Thanks for coming on, Eric.
Thank you, guys. Good to see everyone. Congrats again.
Thanks.
All righty.
Oh. How you doing over there, Craig? Look, he's got his heated garage.
Yeah.
He got the life.
Doing all right.
Jen? Where's the real floor? Where's Jen?
She's at hockey practice with our daughter.
I heard a bottle.
Yeah, which one did you grab, Vigs?
Oh, Stag.
Is this a Vigs making mistake night? Making mistakes?
Stag, I know it.
There we go. It's episode 300.
Episode 300. I got to go to Kentucky at Buffalo Trace and pick this previously in 2025. So why not? Episode 300. I'll open one. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Cheers. I do not have anything to drink.
I was going to give you something, but you didn't come to the Saturday game.
Sorry. Jeez.
I had it all packed up. Nice little gift bag for you. It's from Buffalo Trace. It was a premium product for you.
Oh, man.
And you chose to bail because you.
So I have to be there Saturday against the Badgers. You'll probably be there Saturday against the Badgers, right?
Yep. You've given up on this team, apparently.
Oh, yeah. I was the only one there Friday night. Oh, that doesn't matter, though.
I was in a different hockey rink on Friday night. So
yeah, it just amazes me. 8 photographers last Friday night. No reporters.
Hey, we had 5 from the Michigan student newspaper.
Yeah, 4. Well, there was a photographer and there was 4 reporters.
It's amazing they can still travel.
They do that
Jordan,
every
do you
year.
have a favorite? Do you have a favorite Michigan Daily reporter interaction ever?
I have.
Boy.
I got one.
Go
This was
for
out of Yoast, and it was they had a dog on the ice during intermission, and the dog took a crap on the ice, literally. And I am sitting next to, because the Michigan Daily, they travel with the team and they have like 4 student reporters. There's a lot of, honestly, if you hear different names in the NHL circles, a lot of them end up being Michigan Daily reporters. But in this case, the reporter went and actually used that as their lead, because I think Minnesota went on to win that game, and it was just like, yep, that's the way to do it. That is the way to do it.
I can't imagine, a hot steaming pile hitting the ice.
It was the cutest like, little like intermission, and then all of a sudden that happens, and I'm like, oh, okay.
I like.
It would have been great if they did it on the logo too.
That had some cursed legacy today.
Oh man, I noticed. I've been seeing some video that Augustana's got a dog, like a golden retriever, or something like that. And of course, we always see a lot of dogs at Ohio State in the student section. We need some dogs at Mariucci Arena. What is the deal, Craig? You're muted. So
I know I'm muted. I don't know. It's somebody got to come up with a good idea, and you got to deal with the dog when you're not at the games.
Augie the doggy.
Augie the doggy. There you go.
And there you go.
The bus used to bring his black lab in all the time when he was playing.
Really?
Yeah. And when he was done playing, he'd still come around now and again. And forgot her name.
Yeah, I've been, even though Ohio State will get scored on, I've seen opponents, like I think I've seen a Michigan guy go up, start tapping the glass with a dog. He's all entertained. Dogs just make things better, guys.
I remember that game you're talking about. It was like Dan Kelly and Cappy were like on the call. They were just having a ball. I think it's either one in Michigan or Ohio State. One of them like beat the crap out of the other, and they was just like, we're spending the third period just talking about the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Dog show third period.
Yeah.
We haven't had dogs. We've had bats.
Yep.
We've had bats at Mariucci. The old rally bat that was flying around was one of the early years when we was on the TV, and he almost was kind of nervous, like, oh, geez, there's a bat in my arena that I helped build. They came back and won that game, Craig Floor. That became the rally bat.
Yep. That was
late 90s.
That was a long time ago.
Late 90s, I want to say.
Late 90s, early 2000s might have been.
Well,
we've got the turkeys that are around Mariucci. There's a lot of turkeys on campus, but not on the ice.
Not on the ice, because crap on the ice is not easy to clean up.
Turkey.
You know from experience that turkey crap is hard. Sounds like you're in front of the building.
Oh, man.
You got to keep an eye on where people walk into our building.
How is the new ice plant? How's everything? All the new stuff, has it been going great for you? Has that made your life easier after it's all been done?
A lot less stress, because it's just, it's not a 20 or 30-year-old facility, plant that, was efficient and doing well, but you just didn't know when you were going to have that next minor leak and minor issue and whatnot.
All it takes is one little drill in the wrong place. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hate to say St. Cloud, but they're just up there holding their breath until they get theirs redone. They're still on theirs was older than ours, because that building was built before 3M Arena, and they're still on their original ice plant.
Oh. Among many issues that they've got going on up there. That's just, it's troublesome, unfortunately.
Yep.
What do you do? It's tough. It's tough. 300 episodes, though, man. Somebody said if we'd have Hammy on, I think Hammy might come on, but he wouldn't come on camera probably. He'd have something wrong with his video Or
He's got to be
something like that.
incognito. He's got to be.
Yeah, he has to be incognito.
Witness protection program.
I remember doing
I
the
like to
first,
think of
the
Shadow
first
with a
time I was
fedora.
on with you guys.
Yeah?
It was on Skype back in my sophomore year, back 2017 or whatnot.
Yeah, we did Skype for a little while.
Mhm.
It's before there was any really web stuff, but we wanted to be able to do video. So
Yeah.
we've tried to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Like I said, we were that Mixler, we were doing audio. Gosh. I don't think we were doing it right away when you came on, Viggs, because you were pretty much came on the second full season, right?
I think I was like a guest
Part of-
maybe the second season because it was you, Cardinal, and Hammy
Yeah.
kind of run the show, and then I kind of slid my way into the DMs.
Well,
and became
Cardinal
a-
also decided to do full-time Vikings too. So
Right. Natural replacement. Because I remember I was kind of like the sub writer for some of the Final Fives and things like that.
And you were still coming back from California too, weren't you?
Yep, I was in California for a little bit, trying to figure that piece of my life out. Worked out really well. So,
Get Grumpy on episode. Well, let's see. you think Grumpy would come on?
Depends on his schedule. So
I'll send it to our group text. We'll see if he just responds. -3. Why am I -3, Mote? What did I do? I tried. We may get one more guest. He had to play hockey tonight. We'll wait to see if he responds or not.
Nate, Drew, what are your takes right now with this program and this team?
boy.
I've been listening to your podcasts here and there for your perspectives on things. You do a good job of releasing really early in the week. So for Gopher fans who are anxious for a recap, you guys have been doing a great job. Yeah, quick takes.
Yep. Quick takes with Nate and Drew. But I don't know. I think they definitely got some growing up to do. And like that's just kind of at least like in Nate's line, I think especially been just like, you know what? Like Nate, yeah, I'm taking the line right out of your mouth, Nate. It's like, it's if you're still looking for the identity of your team at this point in the year, that's the identity. And I think that's just, they're still looking for it. And it's kind of, I think, and like I think we started the podcast last week just with like, I mean, is it too bad to look forward to start already looking towards next year? But it just seems like the bright spots of the freshmen, the biggest bright spots of the freshmen. And that's, I think I really liked watching Javon Moore really get better this year and get more, I guess, just consistent. Beckett Hendrickson's been probably my favorite player all year. Just from his compete level. I wish there could be like literally just 12 of him on the ice, and I think they'd fare pretty well. But it's they got some growing up to do, and I'm curious to see what is going to happen in terms of like you said, the guys that they're going to bring in, what guys are going to stick around, the ones that can, and hopefully they can get. I mean, I'm a little worried about, not worried, but I just don't see the sense in bringing in a goalie that you think it can still like get some seasoning in at a different level to be the backup to Pasquale. Because I think he's got it. But the tough spot that he was put in that second period at Penn State, Nate and I were both there and watching it live. It was odd man rush. And then 15 seconds later, odd man rush, 15 seconds later, odd man. Like he was not put in a good spot and he kept them somehow pretty much in that game. So, I think he definitely deserves to play down the rest of the stretch, but I don't see I completely agree with the portal thing. Like go and get a guy who can be who's looking for maybe a little bit of an elevated. I don't even know what you can.
It's like an elevated experience.
Yeah.
Like you want someone who's been around, who's played some games, who's just like, you know what? I'd like to fly charter jets around the country and get really nice gear and stay in nice hotels and get some good coaching. I don't think you're looking for competition for Luka if he comes back. And I think Nathan's a fine number 2 goalie, and I agree. Casey should be playing a number 1 year in CHL next year.
Yeah,
rather
like
than
get
playing
him
like
games.
5 games. Yeah,
It's
get
like,
him
what's the
games.
point in recruiting him and having him come on the team if he's just gonna play 3 games a year and play the exhibition against Bemidji? Like, what's the point in that? I don't see what for all that. So I just hope they can. If Aerie doesn't, like, that's kind of the main thing. Like, if Aerie decides he doesn't maybe want to stay, especially if Luka gets the rest of the starts down the stretch, I don't know. Like, does he try and go like, well, I can go to a different program and maybe get some more time, or not have to not, I don't know. There's a lot of different things that can happen, and I just wonder. I hope that the portal could yield a guy who can be a reliable backup if that situation where Aerie doesn't get a lot of time, he decides to take his talents elsewhere, and it's kind of the Luca Di Pasquo show. I think the first American starter since Shearhorn.
It's been a while.
I was
Luca's
thinking about
a really
that.
interesting story because, like, in 2020, he played in the NHL. He got 2 games, and he still got out on the other side of it with 2 more years of junior getting to play games. But I've always thought goalies need to play games. Like, you're not going to get better by being a backup who doesn't play. You're not going to be better by jumping a level before you're ready. It's like you need to be in the net, playing lots of games and getting evaluated that way. So hopefully Luca comes back, and hopefully Aerie's okay being in that role, and then they're set. But if not, they got to be looking.
Yeah, that would be a really good scenario. And it's just a matter of and we've talked about it ad nauseum. And I think in the shows that I've been listening to, especially live, just talking about the defense in front of them getting better out next year, like just in getting that group getting older. I think the forwards have gotten older faster than the defensemen so far, but I think that's just generally, that's how we've seen it. So, I mean, it took until probably his senior year for Lacombe to get just about everybody off his back. Took me a long time when I was still in fan mode on Mike Riley. Took me forever to get on that guy's to see anything good that guy was doing, but it obviously worked out well, and he's still playing in the NHL. So it's just these guys. Like, it just seems like with the defensemen at this level, it does take a little bit longer, and I think it's gonna take. I mean, I do think, albeit it's not a great look right now with like Rombach, I think he's making good strides, and I think he's going to be. I think he's going to turn into somebody that's a really reliable player for this team. But it's just a lot of youth all at once. Because in the past few years, they've been able to hide that with a few guys being the younger guys, and like even Snuggerud early on, like it's just a guy who's going to be really talented, but they could kind of shield him from having to be what basically LJ Mooney is right now, like from being just to be like, all right, well, here, be the guy, go for it. It's like
it's probably the worst year to actually end up having all your youth and being a young team, given like you have the portal, you have all the CHL players coming in, and it's just it's all that coming together in one. It's just made it just all,
and you've got 4 top 5
just,
teams.
I think that's the hardest thing for fans. It's like this year of all years, like to have a team that's so young and inexperienced, have so many holes. You're just like, because the Big Ten's so good this year.
Oh,
one thing I don't get though.
Hold on a second.
Hey,
Brian Deutsch. Look at that
Deutsch?
coat he's got going right.
You had to grab the coat. That was the delay.
I had to go get dressed. Honestly, that was my answer. I had to go get dressed.
It's like, what? I'm invited to this thing? I got to put some clothes on.
Old Tops, get grumpy on episode 300.
Well, like, I don't even know how many episodes ago it was, but I was thinking, I think I was on like the 250th episode as an overtime guest. I was on as a regular guest when Minnesota played Robert Morris, and then all of a sudden it was getting close to 300. It's like, I'm going to guilt trip those guys into letting me come on one more time. I don't know what I can contribute to the conversation, but I'm going to guilt trip them one more time.
You can't forget about episode 350, episode 400. There's plenty more guilt trips to be had.
We're going to do 400 of these, Jupe?
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Deutsch, how are we doing? How's the show been? You know, it's probably a little bit easier for you on the outside to deal with this than being on the inside and seeing what we do.
say work life has nothing to do with it. Yeah, I find you funnier. You're more informed. I don't have anyone else calling me to yell at me about things that maybe said or tweeted or, just general disdain for one or both of you.
Who drew more disdain over the years, me or Jupe?
No, honestly, I don't think that's fair.
Well, I don't know. Viggs is always hitting you up, Freedom from Information Act, and all that stuff.
I was gonna say, like, I don't want to say that. I don't want to put words in anyone's mouths from a former employer, and it's like you're not doing anything wrong. It's just there were times where it's like, Vigo kind of like knows everything, and that's not fun for us. Yeah, well, it's what it is.
It's what it is. What you got to deal with.
We do have another guest coming. You can only come on audio, though, because he's in his car. We'll give him a couple minutes here.
Where'd Micheletti go? Wasn't he the guest?
He never stays on for overtime.
It's too cool. I think when you have mural cred, you can get away with that. So once you're on a mural, you don't have to do OT with us. So
he did do one of them with us, I think.
It was very brief.
Long time ago. Yes.
But it was an early show, I'm sure, right?
I don't think it was, actually. It was.
Wow.
I don't know.
All right, guys, I have to head down a little bit though, so
that's okay.
It's that East Coast time.
East Coast time.
Yeah. It's 10:15. Sometimes we've had past 1 a.m. and he got in trouble.
I have. But I got out of here long enough to see Deutsch, so I'm happy.
I was going to say, good seeing you, Nate.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Deutsch, how's your little chipper?
Oh, here he comes.
We got another guest coming?
We do, but only by voice here. Let's see. Let me see if I can get him on there. Ben Holden, are you in your car right now?
I am in my truck. I just had a game tonight. Happy to report we won in the Birmingham Men's League. 1-1 for yours truly. And I'm heading back home. How are you, boys?
We're doing good. I figured I threw out a bunch of feelers. I'm like, who wants to come on 300 in overtime? I said to one of you, he's like, I'm playing hockey, but I'll try to come on. He'll be in my car. But I'm like, come on, man, because you're calling a game this weekend, aren't you?
Yeah, it's been a while, man. It's I got the Saturday game, so I'm looking forward to getting into Mon and my old stomping grounds and that Yost. So I'm looking forward to it and see your boys in person, man. I'm gonna go up Friday with Fred and. We like to go up when we have a chance to, we haven't seen Minnesota in person this year. So we're going to go up to Mon and, I want to be around for a look at them. And obviously, the sad news about Dan Sturgis, man. And I'm sure they're going to do something to honor Danny as we will too on the broadcast at some point on Saturday too, guys.
Well, we've got Brian Deutsch, Craig Floor, Drew Cove, Nate Wells, me and Viggs, and now Ben Holden. I don't think we've ever had this many people on at once, have we, Viggs?
Wow. No, we're at a Super 7 right now. I appreciate everyone coming on. Ben, what was your plus minus tonight?
I was one because I was on the ice for a late goal that led to us not blanking the other team. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh,
so I mean, plus one. I was plus two for the two, and then I was on ice for the goal that made it 3-1. So yeah. I'm a 200-footer, guys.
Well, we are going to have you on when Minnesota goes to Michigan at the end of February. So you are going to be a normal guest. He'll be on screen, folks. He figured it probably wouldn't be a good idea to be on screen when he's in his vehicle. So we're just doing voice only tonight.
Probably smart.
Yeah.
Deutsch, did you have any dealings with Mr. Ben Holden here?
I did. And
I know what he's going to say, too.
Uh-oh.
I'm scared because I don't.
No.
Come on. I got one, Deutsch. It's good to hear your voice and see you, man. So I'm gonna tell this story, guys. Deutsch will remember as soon as I start telling it. So it was my CBS years, and we were doing a Friday game at Cloud, and Starman was scouting for the Leafs then, and we came to Minnesota, and I was littered in NCHC gear when I walked in the building. Remember that, Deutsch?
Okay, this is way better than I was. This could have been way worse, honestly.
You don't remember that?
No, I do remember, because anytime someone came into the press box wearing anything that was deemed anti-Gopher, I just let them have it. And I do
let me have it.
I do remember it was like a jacket, a hat, a notebook, and I maybe had asked about socks and underwear just to be sure. And I don't remember the answer, but I'm questioning it now. So.
No, Dave might have been, but I wasn't. I was in a coat, probably a fleece and a hat. So I told you, I said, give me some Gopher gear. I'd be happy to wear it.
I do remember several media members saying there's like a little war chest in Colorado Springs, and you get invited in, and there's a vault full of gear, and it just, hey, go ham for it. Take whatever you want.
Dude,
a little different than life in Chicago.
Yeah, I got so much stuff between the NCHC and Army. I could literally suit probably about 15 troops in the Army. Honestly, I got so much swag from both.
Ben, I feel like.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I feel like Cappy and Mick are the only people that get any Big Ten gear. Of like
that is affirmative, Viggs. Yeah. That's affirmative, brother.
Yep, you can't forget those stocking caps from year one.
I have a hat.
Everybody has.
I have a winter hat that I wear when I walk my Husky every morning, and I had one of those quarter zips, but I left it at Munn and never got it back, and I'll leave it at that. So yeah.
I think it's because the Big Ten only makes medium-sized gear, and that fits Cappy and.
Oh, Cappy's not here to defend himself. He was going to try to get on, but I couldn't convince him to come on. He's busy.
He's probably got men's league games too. So
he skates in the day, man. He's got a really good group, man. He skates with a bunch of guys. He skates with Matt Ford, the former Wisconsin guy. I know Matt real well, and I was with him in the American League, and a couple Miami guys. They got a pretty good group there in Chicago he skates with.
Well, I think if you can skate during the day, you're living a pretty good life. So,
yeah, that's my goal. That's my goal. Yeah, yeah.
Late night hockey, it takes a toll. It definitely. Takes
a man. I love playing. I got playing 3 years ago. My accountant is I'm 53, and he's about 10 years older than me, and he's like, Benny, you got to start playing again, man. And I love it. I skate at least twice a week, and once in the league, and we have it's a pickup game, but it's all guys that we play with in the league on Sunday, and I love it, man. There's no better workout, and I just love playing and acting like I'm 15 still, which I'll probably do the rest of my life.
Never grow up.
That's right, boys.
Never grow up. Well, thank you for calling in, Ben. I know you were busy. You're trying to get home and stuff like that, so we won't keep you, but we know you're on the call this weekend, and we wanted to get you on the 300th episode. And we'll see you in about a month. You'll be on the show live and in person.
I will that night. And it worked out great, Craig, because I play Tuesday. And when you texted me, I was like, oh, man, I better make sure I don't have a game that night. And I play the night before. So, I'm excited. I always like coming on with you guys and love what you guys do. And I guess if I could real quick, I'd like to hear from you guys, like, what's going on? What's the deal with this team, man? In Minnesota, like, what's the deal?
Viggs,
Warren and I might have seen this, but
yeah, but we've been kind of consoling people this year. You think, Viggs? Kind of.
I bet.
Well, I just think they just have such a young defensive crew that they can't play the style that they're used to, because the D aren't getting involved enough in the game, whether it's transition or in zone play, that it's requiring a bit of a style change to be successful. Like, they just can't play the game that they're used to playing. So it's been a challenge. And I think some of the older guys, they need to take on roles where they possess the puck more and they can buy time for their teammates and create space and opportunity for them. And that's a role they're not used to. And it's really been a challenging season to have that going on all at once, and then seeing the Big Ten as good as it is. And the schedule that Minnesota is playing, it's not easy. They're not able to outscore mistakes, so everything feels worse. And, you get into these games and they just give them away, which is not typical of Gopher hockey. So it's a bit of an adjustment there. And I think we are seeing some signs of progress, but it's just the inconsistency in their play is too much for them to overcome right now. And this is a team that's going to have to hope to get to the playoffs and be a tough team to play against. And they've shown an ability to do that at time, but not nearly as consistent as they need to be successful.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's kind of what I've heard and what I've seen and watching them. So yeah, I mean, hopefully, hopefully they can come in and battle State. I mean, it's gonna be a tough game. I mean, State's,
Good.
I got Michigan State, those 2 games in February, man, and that's gonna be, that's gonna be must see TV. That's gonna be unbelievable. The one game's on FS1, and the game at Caesars was already on Big Ten, which. That's going to be dynamite. So, yeah, man, I appreciate you guys letting me pop in and join you guys for a little bit. I love what you guys do. You know that. And by the way, I'll leave you with this. I'm sure Viggs and Craig, that Carmi had his baby. I think he's 6 weeks old now.
We saw the baby. We've seen the baby. You brought him to Mariucci already.
Both games last weekend.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, I'm just letting him tell me when he's ready to start doing our pod again. We've got tons of people lined up, and I'm really happy for Carmi and Melissa. And as you guys know, we're great friends and been doing that pod for a couple of years now, and love doing it with Carmi, man. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, the baby was in tow last week, just this tiny little thing. Boy.
Yeah, that's great.
Adorable.
I always think of that, like, because I went to college with Mike. I think he might have even been in my grade, but that guy has rode with the Gophers through thick and thin. He's at almost every game. I remember always looking over there, looking into the club room. There he is sitting there. So it's always great seeing him around. And I'm glad you guys have the podcast going too.
Yeah, is that Deutsch? Is that your voice, Brian?
Yeah, that's me. It's positive news.
Man.
Listen to me.
Yeah, it's so weird. He's so positive right now.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. And one of the funny things, we've had like 4 or 5 North Dakota guys on. And just, I built a lot of friendships up there, again, being in that league all the years I was. And then we've had like 4 or 5 Michigan guys on, and now he's built a hatred towards Michigan. So he's like, when I was playing, we didn't hate Michigan. We didn't play them. Now I hate them. So it's been fun with that. So, but thanks a lot, boys. I appreciate you guys letting me pop in and, chime in a little bit with you guys, and I'll catch you guys down the road, man.
We will. Thanks, Ben.
Anytime, boys. See ya.
Later. Ben Holden, folks. Look at that.
Nate, do you have some parting thoughts on the East Coast time zone as your parking meter expires on the night?
Just kind of what we've been talking about, where you hope just to see some of these young players take those steps forwards and take a step forward and kind of build and figure out and discover how they're able to win. And it's tough watching this team this year at times, because how they want to play, but they're not able to do it. And you see some glimmers of hopes, and you see some plays that are well done and executed, but then it's just not having that consistency week in, week out, shift in, just a good shift and 2 bad ones, and just you're going to get a bad period or 2, and just it's going to try and expect when it's going to happen. And that's kind of the tough thing. It's kind of realizing that this is the team, this is who they are. As Drew kind of mentioned earlier, we like to use the old Darren Romanko. We're still trying to figure out our identity, but we're in January and February, so that's kind of who you are at this point.
I think that they showed their identity during the second period against Michigan. They just have to realize that that's it. That's the thing for me, is like, that is your identity. That second period against Michigan, you played the number 1 team, you dominate them, you draw penalties, and you make plays happen. That's what you have to do. And it's not an easy game to play. I'm not saying it is, but like, that's what they have to do night in, night out.
Yeah, and I thought we saw the same thing in that second period of the Saturday Penn State game, where they're able to kind of make some really solid plays. They're able to create those chances, but it's just they aren't able to create those chances throughout a full 60 minutes or throughout a full weekend. And now it's just kind of, it's building on that to see, hey, can this happen for more than just a period on a weekend? And yes, they're playing the top teams in the country, and it's going to help them in the long run. We've seen some of those teams that they're playing, they had the same stretches where at Penn State, where they struggled 2 years ago. They took about they struggled the first half of last season before putting it together. Michigan struggled last year when they played Duluth earlier in the season, kind of the same thing. And will all these losses, will all these struggles help them in the long run? And that's going to kind of just be what's going to end up being the deciding factor of how Gopher hockey is going to go the next few years.
Well, don't be complete stranger on social media. I notice you do chime in once in a while, like I said, on Facebook and maybe LinkedIn, at least to give us the numbers. You have to give us the numbers of losing season. You have to keep us up to date. I think you did it on LinkedIn the last time, but
I did. I've done it on Facebook, which like no one really met.
Yeah.
Like some people know that one, but like most people are just like, oh, it's not a thing. But I will say this though. I will say this. Next week, I think it's next Thursday is the 20-year anniversary of Phil Kessel's Wisconsin the year Cup
Oh, really?
So,
Thank
Get
you.
him on the show.
Oh,
Make sure to stop by Cub Foods, get some hot dogs, get some hot dog buns, get some ketchup, get some mustard.
Yes.
I guarantee Cub Foods will have it in stock. We'll see if we can get a promotion going on. It should be Phil Kessel Hot Dog Day.
We're going to tailgate at the garage entrance to Mariucci.
Yep, Craig will set it up, I'm sure. There'll be free parking. Just kidding.
There's going to be a certain person from the Tampa area coming up that weekend as well, next weekend. Allie Ray will be at Mariucci next weekend. Craig's laughing. He's like, no.
Craig's like, I don't think I should hear that, is what he's saying.
That was
like,
always
got a bad connection here.
Just giving you.
Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to head out. Congrats on 300. I really
Thanks,
enjoyed
Nate.
this. Yeah.
Thanks for being with us,
if I can ever get the Pat early record, let me know. I'll try to. I'll get on that. But I don't have Miro cred, so yeah.
You're the fourth most recent or guest on here, so that's good.
GPL podcast cred, maybe.
I do have a procedural question here. I know some of the more recent radio personalities have a bit of an ongoing feud for who's on this show the most. Like, is this half of an appearance for me? Is it not? Does it not count?
Drew decided that it doesn't count as a full visit.
I just suggested it. I'm in no position to decide. I'm only one of. I'm tied. I'm not even top 5 in
Drew, that's
appearances.
That's like my team's constant status message is like, I have no authority here, so take that with a grain of salt.
I think this is a separate category, really. I mean, it just speaks to the specialty of overtime. It's like, it's a whole different deal than being the featured guest. Because I'm sure there's like a cameo appearance on SNL, that comes up. If you're the player that's going to be doing, Trump or Bovino, it's like that's a special bit. That's not a host bit.
Or Brady Shea.
Not even going there. Or if you're a predator who likes to go to hospitals to touch children. Hey,
that was awesome.
Phrasing.
Gosh.
From the Nashville Predators.
I think that does it for me tonight too, boys. But congrats on 300. Thanks for shooting out the invite, Jupe. It's been a blast. It's been very fun to come on and celebrate the 300th episode.
Drew, I'm glad you're not doing this from a closet like you had for a while, where you had.
Yep. It was a definite smaller room, but I've upgraded over the years.
Nice upgrade.
Yeah. So it's nice to have a little bit less. The lighting might be the same, but less.
No,
less...
the lighting's much better. Lighting's much better.
Okay.
Deutsch is the one that looks like he's in a dark area.
Well, I wasn't prepared.
Well, of course you weren't.
Didn't break out the ring light for this one.
I'm even home.
And Floor's always got plenty of light in his garage.
But Drew, come by Mariucci, plenty of seats. It was just me and Randy on Saturday.
I'll just text
on Friday.
I'll text Slarks, or
I'm sure
text
he'll
Craig.
let you in.
There's
Floor will sneak me in the back.
Well,
door.
Wisconsin. Well, God, there was plenty of room for Michigan.
There's gonna be plenty of room, so I'm sure.
I can get you a credential and everything, Drew.
All right. I'll keep you to that. I'll
kind of knock in there.
I'll show up at like 2 on a Thursday. See where I can get.
We
All right,
know a
guys.
guy. We know
We know a guy.
We know a guy.
We know a guy.
Guy
The guy's
behind the
right
guy.
here.
Guy
Guy
behind the guy.
Thanks for coming on, Joe. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Take care, guys.
Oh,
Good rip.
thanks, man.
Yep.
Craig Floor, tell me about the World Juniors. How fun was that?
It was awesome. There was a lot of work, a lot of Chiefs, with between the IHF, USA Hockey, Minnesota Sports and Events, that kind of stuff.
Kevin Kurt, though, man.
I know, it was great. That was awesome. You know, his Meet Minneapolis thing kind of told him, hey, why don't you help us out with being press relations up there with that? So it made my world really easy, because if he needed something, the nomenclature was the same. I mean, I knew what he was asking for, versus somebody that had never been in the building or something around would just be, a little goofier, trying to get them to figure out, okay, what are you really asking me for? But, but with Kevin being around and knowing everything in the building, it was great. So it was fun to see him and hang out with him on and off, and it was good. But yeah, just 5 teams in the building, one over at Ritter, 4 in one building, one over at Ritter.
How many locker rooms did Canada have? 3?
They had all 4 public locker rooms over there, and that whole hallway, and it was funny. I was riding the elevator up after. Did you guys see the post when they did the little walk over and how long it took and everything else, and going crazy? I was talking with their PR guy. We were riding up the elevator. I said, you just kind of want to hop on the social media and kind of correct them, don't you? He goes, you kind of do and you kind of don't, because Canada chose to be over there, because they'd have space and nobody's going to bother them. They knew what they were getting into, because that's where they were for Summer Showcase. Mm-hmm. And that was the whole trial. And we showed them, and they loved it over there. The walk for period breaks was a little more time, but they get 18 minutes between periods.
Yeah, it did seem.
It was brutal.
Yeah. Well, especially after the 12 minutes you get used
I know.
to.
I walked down by the where the ambulance parks. We had all the 6 RoboCam guys running all the different RoboCams that are in the building. The period breaks are killing me. The guy goes, why? I said, I'm used to 12. In our league, it's 12. Oh, that'd be great. These guys would love it.
Is the NCAA tournament still 18 minutes?
Could be.
I think it is.
I just remember
it is. Yeah.
I just remember kind of that same mentality, Craig. Like, we cut it down during the regular season, and then you're sitting there during the NCAA's going like, can we go? Can we go? Can we go?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I'm not the one who's tired, but
I'm not saying it has to be 12, but 18 is so long.
I do think at some of the rinks where they're playing the regionals, you need that time for the ice to set.
Oh, probably.
Because the rinks have not been good for the regionals and stuff. Yeah. So I think they need the extra time for the ice to be good. Because I've seen so many of those setups where it's just bad ice every game.
Sioux Falls 2 years ago was brutal.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing.
With your ice plan that
so we got lots of nice compliments from the different teams. So
it was basically Canadian ice with all the whole change on the ice, the boards, everything.
Well, yeah. Well, when TSN runs that tournament, and they had a better setup in their studio, and everything that they put into their production at 3M was more than what they did at Grand Casino. When I went over to Grand Casino for the medal games, where they shoehorned their little studio before and after studio and whatnot, half the space we built out for them. So
that's where having that big concourse helps. I mean, tons
well,
of
we
room.
built a deck out over the whole band, like where the band is.
Okay.
All the way down to that half little aisle. There was a 20 by 20 platform out there. That's where they had their big deal. Yeah. So
and then you installed a bunch of tracking cameras and stuff
so it's
at
called
the rink.
Wise. Yeah, it's called the Wise system. So it had 22 paddles or receivers and 3 different cameras up in the ceiling, all to a little server over in the press box. And that would give you all your stats, tell you time on ice, assists, goals, puck speed, player speed. Then they would put up these graphics and show the puck possession. And
that was awesome.
It looked like a weather map,
Yep.
And different things. But the amount of stats that even at the Grand Casino and what we would throw up is minuscule what you can get out of this system. just because of the chip in the shoulder pads and the chip in the puck.
Does that still stay in the rink, or is it?
No, it's gone.
Yeah.
Ours was shipped out, went to Nova Scotia for the U18 girls, tournament that fast. So then
Gold medal for USA again.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they said almost every rink that has a semi-pro or pro team has it. And I said, the guys, are you talking to the NHL? He goes, oh, they are, but it's hard to crack that nut cost-wise, league-wise, to get everybody on board and everything else. So it's kind of crazy. At some point, it's going to come.
At the U of M, there's this new thing called the Employee Development Center, and they have these gigs that you can sign up for. And like setting up that camera tracking system was a gig.
Okay.
And I thought about applying for it, but I was like, I'm going to be kind of busy doing other stuff. But it would have been cool to like see all the analytics and be involved in the setup and installation.
I'm surprised.
Software side of it.
Nobody was there other than me and the 4 guys from Finland.
Oh, I bet they put it up and no one applied.
It could be
the way it worked.
I don't know what they would have helped with. The guys were so efficient putting it up.
Well, I think just knowing like the IT at the U of M,
the
infrastructure and the logins and all the uniques on campus.
All right,
the things I know, Brian, that people worry about. I know where stuff is. I know where to look things up.
That's the truth. I don't know. I think everybody here have heard this before, but like there used to be like a strategy of things had to be announced before the agenda would go to the Board of Regents. Otherwise, we knew, and I don't want to say that Vigo was the only one, but like if it was hockey, Vigo, well, actually kind of turned into a lot of athletic stuff. Vigo would have it. So it's like, okay, like usually you have to wait for the board to approve things, but it's going to get out before that because you have to, I don't remember what it is, but you had to submit like agenda items before the meeting.
Public, yeah.
Yeah, the Friday at noon before the meeting. Yeah, I knew that. I've got to
get on the docket. Got to get on the docket.
Got to get on the docket.
Now, if you could just find out when the trip back to Michigan Tech's going to be, the first weekend next year, Viggs, you got to look up that contract.
I just submitted Freedom of Information Act requests for all the coaches in the Big Ten and all the scheduling agreements in the Big Ten just to get. So I just did that with Nerato's new contract. I was like, let's get a refresh on everybody. So
I'm sure Michigan had tons of time to get back to you on these.
They did just reply to me today. We will not be able to meet the 7-day turnaround we're required to meet. It's like your new deadline is February 5th. Like, don't expect this before then. So it's the only school to get back to me though so far. And I did them on Monday. I submitted them on Monday. So
look at that.
It was a holiday. So
I do remember a couple of times I'd get like a heads up, like, hey, we're gonna send this to Vigo. Are you okay with that? And it's like, do you have to? Like,
I'm glad to create some work for everybody. So,
boy,
it's that kind of time.
It's fun. Keep you guys on your toes.
Hey, I haven't been watching quite as many games as I normally do. Just life is kind of busy all the time now, but they at this point absolutely need to win the tournament. Is this the worst Big Ten tournament that you have to win, just in terms of depth of talent for the different teams?
Here's my take on the Big Ten tournament. 3 teams are likely to have number 1 seeds locked up going into the tournament.
1 or 2, yeah.
Like Wisconsin, Michigan State, Michigan, all pretty much look like number 1 seed locks.
Yep.
Like based on like the playoff projection sites out there saying, how teams project, unless they suddenly like start splitting all their games, like they're going to be number 1 seeds. Penn State, pretty much a lock to make the tournament already, just playing for seeding. So from that perspective, motivation wise, you would think Minnesota would have the edge, be like, and the other teams are like, we're already in, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
so
we've
I
been
think that could be an
that
advantage
many times. So
right, exactly. It's like Minnesota's coming to these tournaments with nothing really to play for, other than a tournament champion ring, which I don't know how much people care about. So it's different this year. And the fact that it's a 1-game elimination rather than a series helps Minnesota, I think. Like, you just had to play well once,
yeah.
And we'll see. The only bad thing is that, like, they're probably going to be like 5 playing 2, right?
Yeah,
I haven't
so you're
looked at
going.
the standings, but
Yeah.
And how much does Michigan want to win the league? They haven't done that yet. Regular season.
No.
So you're at a Michigan State, you're at a Penn State. One off?
And the thing with this Gopher team is, like, they have pretty good goaltending if Luca's the guy. So, like, gives them a pretty good chance, and they have good power play right now. So,
well, I
I
mean,
don't know. Like, there's reasons for optimism for a tournament, but for the regular season, they're done. Like, they can't make it. Like, even if they go undefeated, I think they're still at like 14 or 15. So, I was talking to Wally about that today. He's like, well, if you look at the customizer, and if they win the rest of the games, they're still on the bubble. So,
but they won't.
They will not win the rest of their games.
I even just go back to that that first year everything was at Notre Dame, and it was kind of a crapshoot getting out of that first game against Michigan State. And that was what an overtime win. And it was like, okay, like, are we gonna? We played Michigan the second game, I think. Am I remembering that correct? And it was like, oh, we got out of that game. Oh, now we're playing Cole Caulfield in Wisconsin. And we're gonna get crushed. And it's like, oh, hey, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, worked out pretty well.
No, we weren't quite in this position nationally, but
I think this is the least offensive blue line core I think I've seen in Minnesota maybe ever. People can say what they want. They were not prepared to lose Rinzel, Chesley. They just weren't. And part of that's, like, if you look at the kids who are in this age group from Minnesota, there aren't, like, easy swaps. Like, it's not like they missed on somebody from Minnesota who's playing somewhere else who's just magic. Eric Polkamp is probably the one person you could point to, but he went to Bemidji State, and they portaled Denver. He's probably the one player you could argue that they missed on out of local kids at the blue line. So,
maybe.
Yep.
I thought Gruba would be a little bit better on the offensive side.
That's kind of
killed them.
Yep. They're wanting more from him. I don't know how hurt he is, but it's a factor.
Yeah. What do you do?
Did you guys talk about homework getting the Olympic call up?
Yeah. A little bit. Yeah.
A little bit. Pat, we did.
I saw someone had put a thing in the chat about it. So
yeah, we talked a little bit about that when we had Pat on still.
I didn't realize he's an alternate captain for them, for Anaheim.
Really?
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that just continues to get better.
Yep.
Like every couple months, like, he just gets better. Really impressed by him.
Yeah, 'cause right now it's who are all the alums that are on that right now? Faber, isn't there one more? Well, Hall is playing for Finland. Is it just those three right
Faber,
now?
Lacombe, I think.
Faber and Lacombe, I think, are the two.
Yeah.
But if there's any more injuries, you'll see somebody like a Nyes maybe.
Yeah, that's the one that surprised me the most, of the Nyes didn't make it. But.
Yeah. Still a lot of time with injuries.
I thought Nyes would make it. He's kind of a Bill Guerin kind of guy too, right? You would think, like a heavy, big player. Like, I feel like Guerin would like that kind of element to his team, but oh well.
Hard to pick that roster, I'd say.
For sure. What'd you think of the Montreal Canadiens tweeting USA Hockey when Cole Caulfield scored the goal against the Wild, Deutsch? As a social media expert.
Just always a little tough. Like, I was never of that mindset of, like, how do we rile people up? But there's definitely a market for it. Like, just overall social media decorum it's just completely gone out the window. So
it gets engagement, and I was all for it. So good job, Montreal. I thought.
Yeah, I liked what was the one? What was the team that was chirping the Sabres? Was it Nashville that chirped the Sabres and they used a picture of Josh Allen? And then it was like a friendly thing afterwards. It was like, hey, appreciate you sticking. It was when your team I think it was Nashville. Like when your team hasn't won in Nashville in a decade or something, and it was a picture of Josh Allen crying, and then the Sabres put out like, you leave Josh out of this, and the Predators sent back like, hey, appreciate you sticking up for your guy. So,
oh jeez.
Well, we can only hope for Canadian tears in Italy this year, so that's what I'm hoping for.
The John Hamm thing is pretty good.
That's
John
really
Hamm
good
stuff.
I love that guy.
I'm all for that stuff. So, I know it's walking the line, but it's fun.
Canadian tears. We hope so.
Yep.
Sure, there's been a lot of Canadian tears in the juniors. Boy, one medal in like last 4 years or 4 times. And now you've got Woden saying, well, the U.S. might not be in the tournament next year because of political stuff going.
He's cried wolf before.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We won't touch that. Even after 300 episodes, there are some topics the GPL podcast will not weigh in.
No, I get that, but I still have people come up. God, I hated it when he was on with Schlossman. I'm like, they just really hated the guy. I'm like, wow. What do you?
He's something.
Hey, I see a comment. Hate makes hockey great.
I
wish it wasn't true, but it kind of is.
Kind of makes a rivalry what it is, and that's what makes our following as fun as it is. And I appreciate Jupe. 300 episodes. Hats off to you. You are the one that makes this happen. I just kind of log on and show up, and I appreciate all that you do
every week. Trust me.
But you're really good at like organizing everything, and you book all our guests, and you send out these links to Craig and Deutsch and Nate and Drew and Ben and Shearhorn and even the guys like Ramsey who can't show up. You did send out the invite.
Was all over him on text today.
What would be? It sounds like you're trying to wrap this on up. What would be like your great white buffalo for a guest that you haven't gotten?
Well, a lot of people say get players on, but we've decided it's just
current players. But it's so hard with current players. And obviously things have changed a lot since I was there. But like also you have to have a personality that can carry for an hour. And that's hard to ask a lot of college kids to do. There are some that could do it. And I won't lie, like I was adamant about not letting them do it when I was there. But like anybody, alum, I always thought one of the most fun interviews I got to be a part of was when we had there it is, John Mayasich. It's just fun to hear that guy talk. And I'm sure that's Wally and Frank were doing that for a while, doing the alumni feature, and it's like I just loved hearing all these different stories.
And that's why it was fun having Angel on us. Telling us a story about Grant Patoli getting in a fight pre-game of the national championship game with a defenseman, and they were going at each other. I'm like going. And like you said earlier, Vigo, having Leo on and all the stories and him holding that phone the entire time. Wow.
That's a guy he can stick handle. He can hold the phone. I think a white buffalo for me, maybe Thomas Vanek. It would be fun to have Thomas Vanek on for our show and have an OT with him and maybe have some of his teammates join us in OT to kind of lead us through some extra stories. I think that would be a really fun one for me. I think
would
Johnny
it have to be the off season for him though, because he's coaching at Stillwater. Maybe
no, he's not coaching anymore.
Because his kid's moved on.
He's scouting somewhere.
His oldest has moved on. And when I talked to him at Summer Showcase, he goes, "I can't coach my twins in high school." He goes, "We butt heads." Personally, he didn't. He just knew. He goes, "I can't do it with those kids. It's not fair to them or me."
That's good to recognize that. But Vanek would be a good one for me. Johnny Cole would be another one for me.
Get Vanek, get Clay Matvick, and they can talk about that first interview.
Oh,
I mean, that's a topic for sure. A topic.
That's not a bad idea, but Clay is pretty busy, dude.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him in a while.
I was surprised. I was surprised he remembered my name one time. He came up to me, "Hey, Craig, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah.
Bucci would be a fun one, but it's just like I don't know. It's kind of a weird deal there, I think. But I think Vanek or Pohl would be more of my avenue of pursuit for us. So we'll see.
You know, I think it'd be good. Clay would be a good guest. I think Clay would be good,
especially ahead of a regional.
Yeah, but he didn't call a regional last night. I think they took him off.
But he's got lots of experience doing it.
He does.
Plenty of stories. 3 women's Frozen Fours. 2 Frost seasons now. He got kind of pushed out of that one, but
he would have some FSN stories too, wouldn't he?
I was going to say that, like the number of weird things that go on before the camera turns on for TV interviews is always always a lot of fun. So
I'd like to have Don Lucia on at some point.
Oh, the Don.
Am I like I'm sort of out of touch on this. Like, I don't hear about him nearly as much as I used to. Yeah.
That job was so much pressure on him.
Well, I just even with the CCHA, like it just, I don't follow all the conferences anymore on social and all that kind of stuff. He'll see stuff a lot.
He'll pop up more like at the end of the year when there's regionals and there's stuff going on, or around the meetings in Florida. Like, he'll be more vocal then, but he's a little more quiet during the year.
Yeah.
Yes, Mote. Mike Crowley would be my guy. The Magic Man. He was just magic on the ice for me. So
he was just at the games last weekend. Friday
Gensel.
Night. Oh yeah.
Good luck.
If we had Gensel on, I could do my Gensel story about him. The one that got me in trouble.
What's the record for the shortest
when you start
podcast?
Fucking playing?
What's the record for the shortest podcast?
We have never had a guest sign off in the middle of a show yet. So
you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah. But yeah, that's another thing. Me saying that, me getting in trouble with Deutsch, saying Gensel, saying I'll start fucking coaching when you start fucking playing.
I wrote that great story about Gensel as the goldsmith for Minnesota Hockey Magazine, and it's like it meant nothing. So,
he's bitter with you because of the
contract.
How much he's making? It's public information.
He wanted to be the head coach, and he thought he was promised that coach, and he didn't get it. I'm sorry.
This thing is it's not the coach going out. I don't know.
It's the AD's call.
It is. What do you do? Yeah, but I'm going to wind it down now because I'm tired.
All right, boys.
They're going for 3 hours.
Congrats.
Yep.
300. Thanks, nicely done.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
300 more.
Oh, gosh. It's 15 years we've been doing it, dude. Weren't you
still
at the Daily when we started, probably?
I would have been there in 2000. Well, I started there in 2006, but I wouldn't come on hockey until 2007. So,
no, I think we started. Yeah, we started in 2010. So, the podcast, but we were there. I started covering part time in 2006 and 07. It was my first year where Kevin Kirk got me in there, and then that was my first Final Five that year. Of course, it was the Wheeler goal. The Wheeler goal. Well, it was literally 3 feet from.
I still remember my first game was at the X. I think they were playing Michigan. It was like the icebreaker tournament, and it was Jim Strick's first game too. And the game that Ryan Stowe blew out his knee.
Oh,
and it was just like post game was just a catastrophe. It was just like it was. It was by no means was it Jim's fault, but it was like I was asking for someone. He's like, I don't know who these people are yet. Like I just started to.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's not the one Wheeler got like kind of cut up too in his face.
I don't remember that one.
Wheeler got cut up a little bit from. I think they were playing Michigan at the X, and I think RJ Anderson might have had a big game too. Can't remember.
That's something that's not spoken many times. Has that been those
No.
words before? But
not at all. But yeah, I remember the Stoa thing.
That's not fair to him. Great player, just no one. He didn't have a lot of goals, as I recall.
No, he didn't. I remember seeing Stoa going off on crutches that night.
Yeah,
and that's obviously we don't. That's not something you share.
Well, things are so different now. Like we might have talked about this when I was on the podcast. That like the Tommy Pohl injury today would be a completely different story, but for a couple of days, no one even knew what was going on, or if they did, they had no way of sharing that news.
Mm-hmm. Jim Roosevelt says he's got pictures. Never show. He will not show them to anybody, but he has, because the box was elevated at Mankato, and you could kind of look over, and he was probably 5, 6, 7 feet away, down looking at Pohl. And that was I was across the ice. I was on the other side, so I could, that was awful, just awful. What do you do?
Well, we got to change the subject quick because you can't end on that. So, how many home games do they have left?
6.
6. Okay. Yeah. I haven't been to a game this year. I got to get to one before it's over. So.
Oh, I probably wouldn't wait until March 5th and 6th if I were you. I'd probably pick the February.
Well, for me, it's more of if Tris is in the mood to go and if he's with me or not, and
Well, how old is he now?
He just turned 7 in December.
Oh my gosh!
No.
Of course, I'm about to be a grandfather for the second time. Any day now.
The Saturday Wisconsin one will probably be the best game. It's a 6:00 game.
Yep.
It's going to be sold out, I bet.
Yep.
And they'll probably have a tough Friday night, so they'll probably play better on Saturday. So,
and unfortunately, the Saturday Ohio game's 8:00 at night.
We've reached the point where my late night weekends are long gone. I've used all those up. So I found a non-hockey story funny. Found out that my son was mad at me because we didn't stay up for New Year's Eve. Like we just did our normal bedtime routine, buddy. Like you didn't say anything. He's like, well, yeah, but I wanted to stay up like 4 more hours than we normally do. It'll work.
Parenthood. Oh, jeez. How old are yours now, Mr. Floor? You got a graduate? You got a high school grad coming soon?
Yeah. No, he graduated last year. He's starting his second semester at Dunwoody.
What's he studying?
Manufacturing.
Oh, thank goodness.
Different things. Yeah.
That's a smart kid.
So he likes it. Things are cool.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. So it's good. And then the twins are freshmen.
Oh my gosh.
Because I remember when you're like, yep, having a kid.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You were your kids were damn near in high school, I think.
No, they were not. They were young, though. They were definitely young. I still got that picture of my daughter holding the puck with Frank Mazzacco, and she was all excited to meet Frank Mazzacco because he's on TV. My dad watches it every weekend.
Yeah.
And now she's about to have her second child.
There you go.
At least my gray hair works for her grandpa.
It's white. It's not gray. It's
white.
It's flat white. Yep.
It's, that's how people pick me out because I'm like a freaking beacon. It's ridiculous. What do you do?
All good.
Hey, at least all of you have full heads of hair. I got a hole coming in the back.
Bitter.
You guys want to hear a fun story?
What's that?
Some of you have heard this before, but we're on a road trip somewhere, and Don Lucia walks behind me. I was young. This is probably a long time ago.
Oh, boy.
We're like a team meal. And he walks behind me. He goes, Deutscher, are you going bald? Yeah, there's a hole back there. He goes, is it genetic? I said, no, I'm pretty sure it's stress, honestly. What's stressful about your life? Oh, this?
Oh my god.
Oh,
We just got done with postgame. That was stressful.
that was stressful.
We win, it's stressful. We lose, it's stressful.
Don, I don't know if you know this, but it's kind of stressful to be in your circle of world. Like, I don't know what it is, but I just feel stressed when I'm around you. So I always loved Don when I had like, finally I got like a long sit down with him and we like talk back and forth for like, an hour. And at the end, he's like, huh, Feeks, you're smarter than you look. It's like, thanks, Don.
Thanks, Don.
It's like we've actually had a real conversation after like 8 years of me not being the Star Tribune Jason Gonzalez like gotcha writer. I'm the one who asks like questions. They're like actually like hockey questions, and now you get it. Okay.
Yeah, his stress level has gone way down. When we talked to him at the Frozen Four a couple of years ago, completely.
He's a totally different guy to
he
talk
felt
to.
at ease and not all tense and all worried. And Deutsch is like, where was that when I was working for him?
No, I remember. Are you guys talking about Boston?
Actually, no, it was St. Paul. Just a couple years ago.
I remember
recently here.
I remember bumping into him when my last weekend when we were in Boston, and he had to be riding pretty high because Minnesota State had just kind of put the hurt on us, and so a couple of us had to stay for the Hobie Baker thing, and I just went back to the rink and was working on some stuff. Like I think we had a press release for Colin Schmidt being the Elite 89 winner or something, and he sits down, he's just talking, very pleasant, and like, oh, it's like I kind of like this. We're not this super stressed out situation anymore. But the other side of it to me was like, I'm working.
I'm still working.
I'm still working.
I'm not going to say the Elite 89 award is the most pressing release I ever had to send out, but it's like, at that point I kind of knew that I was going to be leaving. It's like I kind of want to also go have a little fun here too.
That was the Ben Myers Hobie, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep. So
that the next year's team would have won a national championship if he stayed. I'm thinking they would have.
I think it would have been.
That kind of leadership, that kind of
depth.
I'm glad you're putting the pressure on him, and that it wasn't that I left. That's what's nice. So.
Oh man, how pissed would you have been? You leave and they win.
No, I would do that. I mean, I've said the story enough. Like, I'm just glad I wasn't there the next year. Because that, like, I took those things so personally, and it's so hard, and I hated the last game of the season in the NCAA tournament. Everybody's sitting there crying, and you're sitting, and I'm going like, hey, we still got to do this thing, guys. Like, I'm sorry. I don't want to sit here and cry too, but we got to finish this up. So I do remember that, like, I was sitting watching at home and just going like, I don't, part of me was saying like, I'm always going to root for the Gophers, right? Even now, I don't know a single guy on the team anymore. I'm still going like, I always want them to win. It's like, are you going to win it the first year I'm gone? This sucks. And then watching that game, I'm just like, I'm just glad I'm not there, because I'd have been a wreck.
That Tampa room was so hard to walk through, because like, I'm here. Like, I didn't come here just to not like do like the job for the fans, and like all the other reporters are following me around. I'm like, Joe Smith, you've embedded with these guys for like the entire week. Why the hell are you following me around? Go do your own interviews. It was just like really hard.
Yeah, I just saw the entrance. I didn't even want to walk in. I just went over and thanked Slarks for a good, fun, great season. That's what I try to do now. I remember doing the same thing in the previous time in Tampa, just going down, talking to Rovnak. I'm just like, I don't want to go in there. I just want to say thank you.
But like,
I just feel like I don't think I ever had that conversation with you. So,
well, because you guys were never at home. or it wasn't in Tampa. I've been to 2 Tampa Frozen Fours and I've been to 2 St. Paul. You weren't at any of them, so.
Oh, I was working the one in St. Paul. Back with the last time, not the most recent one, but
yeah,
because I was working. I was doing timeout coordinator for TV, and that was when a bunch of guys signed. And it's like I'm stuck in a penalty box. Can't do anything, guys. Sorry. I'm gonna try to write this.
Could you at least wait? Can you at least wait till this game is over to sign so I could like write this press release?
Yeah. I definitely remember like during one of the intermissions, like trying to run up to the press box and write something quick, and it's like, sorry,
there's nothing you can do about it.
Sorry. I remember Nick Sealer was one of them. Like, sorry, Nick Sealer, I'll get to you. It's nothing personal.
Well, I just remember having you had to worry about other sports too.
Yeah, everybody
when we're sitting there doing the Frozen Four, we're watching. Was it one of them at Thompson's house? And you're having to do like track and field while your season was over. It's like, no, the season's never over for that job. Sorry.
No.
And you're like, please Duluth, don't win. No Duluth. And they did.
Only a couple prestigious employees can only have to worry about one sport. Not pointing any fingers at, for me, it's this guy, but I don't know what direction he is for everyone else.
I got 2. Did you hear hockey has a new sport admin?
No.
Mr. McGinnis is going to St. Thomas.
I did hear that last week.
I was wondering if I was going to break that tonight or if Craig was going to break that tonight because I heard that last week.
I get to the end. It was more for Deutsch just because I know he's not in the loop.
Yeah, I heard some of that last week myself. Yeah.
Yep. So to work for his old roommate.
So do they have a new admin or is this a transition right now?
Who do they assign? Peyton.
Yeah.
Most optimistic guy I've ever met in my life.
No kidding.
I don't know. I mean, he loves all sports and he loves all the student athletes. I don't know his familiarity with hockey, but
I know it won't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to.
Yep.
So then JT Brewett's got women's hockey.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be interesting.
Well, it's how long has Michelle been there now?
Michelle 20.
She's the longest that anyone I know over there.
Yeah, I've been there 29, and she's a couple years behind me. So I think it's 25 or 26. So
wow.
I don't think they've lost any full-time staff members since I left, right? In ACOM?
Oh, in ACOM?
I think everyone's still there.
Yep, everybody's they're pretty good.
You just messed all that up, didn't you, Deutsche?
Well, I think they got rid of dead weight, honestly.
Oh, jeez. Here we go. Come on. Though it was Tom's. He's like, where's Grumpy for the 300th episode? Here we go, right there.
I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
Glad you could join us.
I saw that. I'm like, I should put it out on the texter. So I appreciate you coming on. You too, Craig.
Yeah, it's all good.
And we didn't get. Hopefully, we didn't get you in trouble this time. I don't think we did. I think we're good.
I only bite my lip a few times. So
is it, you watching Rovnak? You should have come on the show, man.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's all good.
Apparently, Russo was going to watch. He wanted to watch Pat.
I don't think he got to hour 3 of overtime. If I'm being honest.
Probably not.
No.
Well, Faldus today was like, well, how you can do a live show when you're going to be on Wild Weekly? I'm like, because we actually do it live.
Yeah.
And Pat recorded Wild Weekly, which was on at 7 p.m. But like, sorry.
That's how you be 2 places at once.
Yeah, you're pulling the curtain back on the whole thing now.
No, that's not my problem. Not my problem.
All right, guys. Well, I better get to bed. I got an early morning, so
I think my wife just called this a triple OT. So,
and it's only 10:15. Over 3 hours. That's would not. I don't know how many times we've broken 3 hours.
Well, when you start at 7, it's a little easier. So
yeah, it is. It is. But I'm still tired. So,
what did you guys predict for this weekend? Just so I can be pissed about it.
No points.
Yeah. I mean, you can be pissed.
That's where we're at.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the before it was I was upset that you guys were calling for sweeps and jinxing them. So maybe now
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
It feels better to be proven wrong when it comes to this team. You're picking them to pick no points, and they come up with like a split or something more.
Okay. All I'll say is it's been like 15 years carrying all the load for the Big Ten, and even at the end of the WCHA. I think they're entitled to one down year. So
let's hope it's just one.
Well, that's what I'm going to go with, because I'll take the last 5 years where it's been pretty dang good. So
it's been good lately.
So, and you're hearing that from me, and I don't exactly have the most optimistic views of everything. So
really.
All right. Thanks, guys, for coming on.
See you guys.
We're going to say goodnight to everybody. Thanks. 300 episodes. It's been great. We'll catch you next week. Nothing, Biggs. You got anything tonight?
I was going to talk about the Tom McGinnis stuff, but then Craig had to steal my thunder on it.
Yeah, he kind of did, didn't he?
He kind of did. It's like another exodus from Thomas. Like, they've got all the money, all the facilities. They're moving in CHC.